Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
This is the Rick and Bubba Show. Watch more at blazetv.com/Rick and Bubba.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
6 minutes now past the hour. Rick and Bubba, another hour, another day, another show. Here comes the national anthem. It is 7.5 minutes past the hour from the Big Boy Studio on the bleeding edge of technology from Sweet Home, Alabama, to the rest of the world. Here we go. Kickoff hours behind us. Speedy, the real Greg Burgess, and Helmsy have done that for you. Eddie Van Adler settles up. He's also starring in a movie. No, I'm just kidding. Eddie Van Adler is settled into the YouTube slot. Sorry about the kickoff hour. Had some YouTube trouble for the live option. Adler has taken care of that, and we move forward with no problem. So hello to the tubers. Your live option is there. Also, you get an archive option on the YouTube channel every day, and also a best of hour for Blaze TV subscribers. America's boldest radio stations on the Rick and Bubba Radio Network. Thank you. If that's how you get the show, our streaming app, also another option for you, a live option, and also archive options include our podcast channel, and as I just told you, our YouTube channel as well. So we're missing one, the silver-tongued one, the man with a golden voice, professional lunch eaters man of the year, the inventor of pizza in a cup, Shakespeare's worst nightmare, and the master out of King's English. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Bill Bubba Bussey! Howdy, Bubba.
How about it, Rick Burgess? Friends, neighbors, associates everywhere, welcome to President's Day.
Bubba, how do?
How about it, Rick Burgess? Hope everybody is doing well and looking forward to a big President's Day. A lot of history with this. It initially was Washington's birthday.
Yeah.
And then they tried to work Lincoln in later in the week. And then finally somebody said, look, let's just roll it all together and call it President's Day.
Yes.
So basically it's another off day for our federal employees.
And, of course, to test his cognitive skills, everyone's going to ask the current president if he knows what today is. So we'll see how that goes. We do have a new Rick and Bubba University, the podcast, already getting good feedback. Saw somebody yesterday at church that said, you know what, I did not know all those things about David Pollock. I watched the whole thing, really enjoyed that. So David Pollock, our guest, if you haven't seen Rick and Bubba University, the podcast, Helmsy dropped that over the weekend, and that's available to you wherever you get podcasts. Another Rick and Bubba Buffalo Wild Wings charity charge today. Operation Healing Forces will benefit. As I heard the kickoff hour discuss, which I did not know, you could go watch, is it America's Race? Mm-hmm. Daytona 500 was canceled yesterday, and it will run today. So you can watch that at a Buffalo Wild Wings location. The participating locations are all in Alabama. So 10% of food sales go to them today.
Yeah, a little bit of rain delayed that, so hopefully they'll get that underway today. A lot of stories out there. I know you had a big weekend.
Yes.
My son had a birthday.
Yes, Hunter Buzz.
Trump
2-6?
Yeah, 2-6. Trump has had a very busy weekend. We had a ruling come down Friday after the show.
Saw that.
That we pretty much everyone expected because the judge had already told everybody what he was going to rule. It's being appealed.
Right.
But then we had a surprise Trump engagement over the weekend. I'll put it that way. And I don't know if you've seen the new products that he's hawking.
I have not. I can only imagine.
It may be even stranger than you think.
Okay.
We'll cover that. People's Choice Awards, NBA All-Star Weekend, a lot going on. We'll try to cover
I see we had 200 points scored.
Yeah, 211 to 186. Wow. Not a lot of defense being played.
No.
It was over 100 at halftime.
So Reese, my youngest, was coming through, and he said, "Hey, Dad, you see the dunk contest?" And I was like, "No." He said the winner jumped over Shaq, and I'm like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, the winner of the dunk contest. You know how they'll use props, And I don't know. I haven't seen it, but apparently Shaq was called to the floor, and the guy jumps over Shaq and dunks.
Okay. If I'm not mistaken, he is a repeat winner, right?
Yeah. He's only 6'2" or something.
Yeah.
So, and Bubba, you mentioned it. Now you've kind of given it away, Speedy. At the Man Church conference, we had somebody dunk over Robbie Gallaty.
You need a ladder to do that.
So this guy, look at that. Okay.
Good gracious. 6'2" white kid.
I did miss the performance, and maybe there's video of it out there today at the People's Choice Awards. Lenny Kravitz won a Icon Award, and of course, nobody's cooler on stage than Lenny Kravitz.
Nobody.
I did not get to see that, so maybe there's some highlights of that out there today.
All right, we'll see. So
I looked at some of the winners. Some of them I've never even heard of.
No.
I mean, not even kind of.
No, I know.
We got no idea. So also later today, speaking of movies, Ordinary Angels is coming out this week. Greg loves it because it's inspired by an incredible true story.
Oh, that Rick.
Alan Ritchson, who plays Reacher, the TV or the streaming version of that, not the movie that Tom Cruise was him in a movie, right?
Yeah.
This is the series that is on Amazon.
Amazon Prime, yeah.
And so he is in it, and also Academy Award winner Hilary Swank. So Ordinary Angels, the movie, will talk to Andy Irwin. The Irwin brothers are involved in this one. That's coming up a little bit later on in the program, too. So we have a lot to do today, a lot to recap. So we'll jump into it, and your phone calls, of course, will be part of it, too, at 866-WE-BE-BIG, and we'll let you bring up your updates today also. Check our website, Rick and Bubba, spell out the word and.com. Catch all the different options on getting the show either live or on your time. More Rick and Bubba coming up right after this.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
In many communities across America, there's a law that says everybody who lives in the house must be related to the owner. Well, why was that put in place? It was because people were afraid of brothels popping up in their neighborhood. Nobody's afraid of that. Okay, so we don't need that regulation anymore.
Yeah, so a lot of it's just outdated. It doesn't apply to modern times, and sometimes that's what we try to warn everybody about when the government says, don't worry, we're going to put this regulation here, we're going to put this barrier here, but it's just for a limited time. Once the government puts something on the books, it's a real difficult process to get it off the books. And
you've hit a nail on the head, because a lot of times a solution is hatched and it's supposed to replace another, but instead of replacing another, it's just added on top of it.
Right.
So between point A and point B, instead of a straight line, it becomes a labyrinth. And each arm of that labyrinth is costly and time-consuming.
Secretary Carson, tell us a little bit, like on the ground right now. We see the numbers, historic, unemployment numbers on the low side for many minorities, and are we really seeing the impact of that? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. I think some people, buy into some of the propaganda that nothing good is actually happening, and that's just garbage. If you look at the lower 10%, the wages for the lower 10% have increased much more rapidly than any other segment of our society. In the fourth quarter of 2019, 74.2% of people entering the workforce were from outside the workforce. That means they were people who had dropped out, who are now coming back in. And you look at the optimism that is going on. This is an amazing time that we're living in right now. Apprenticeship programs are going on. At HUD, we're revamping Section 3, which has been on the books for more than 50 years, which says that if you're getting HUD money, you have an obligation to hire, train, or give contracts to the low-income people in that area. But it's been so cumbersome and difficult to use that people have largely ignored it. We've revamped it to make it much easier because we want to give people the kinds of skills that will allow them to climb the ladders of opportunity and become independent. You know, you see so many people who spend all their time talking about the government needs to give more money. We need to have more vouchers. What we really need to do is concentrate on how do we give people the tools that they need to be able to function appropriately in our society today.
Yeah, we're the land of opportunity. We're not the land of handouts. So what we need to do is maximize your opportunity to then maximize your potential.
Absolutely. And I love the phrase, fix the roof while the sun is shining. The sun is shining now. Don't wait until it's raining. You know, this is the right time to address so many of the problems that we face in our society, including affordable housing.
Well, and I know we only have about 30 seconds. You've been rolling through various states. You're getting into our state and know some of the folks that are working in our state government. Alabama has really made improvements in this area as well. So tell us about the relationship between the federal government and the state government.
Well, nothing really good happens without cooperation between the federal, the state, and the local government. And, you know, one of the things that's hurting us as a nation right now is we have all of this resistance and hatred, and it's stoked by people who take the little disagreements and try to make them into something huge. That's hurting us. And I hope everybody will realize in their sphere of influence they have the ability to change that.
Thank you, Secretary Ben Carson. Thanks for the work you're doing for our country. And this is an important tour, and going out and doing what we all hoped would happen with the Trump administration is to shrink the size of government and maximize opportunity. Thank you, Secretary Carson.
Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
20 minutes now past the hour. Rick and Bubba Show, thank you for being with us today. So, all this with Trump over the weekend. Bubba, you got a Trump update? Well, Trump update. Yeah.
I'm very proud of myself.
You can't always get what you want.
Incredible. Really amazing. Don't be stupid.
So Bubba, what happened with Trump? I know the
So
ruling.
we had the big ruling come out. Was it Friday after the show that this came out?
I don't know.
The judge, it wasn't a jury, a judge in New York who we already knew what he was going to rule because he had said that
Yes, he told us,
earlier
yeah.
in the case.
Yeah.
That he has fined the Trump organization $355 million.
Yeah.
There'll be some interest on that.
Yep.
He's also barred 3 years from running a New York business, borrowing money from a New York registered bank, and buying commercial property anywhere in the state of New York.
Wow.
Unprecedented.
Right.
He has had a court-appointed monitor for the past 5 years. All this investigation started in 2019.
Okay.
And they are saying that he overstated his financial statements and that somehow that was bad. Mm-hmm. And the thing that is strange about this, with some of the numbers that he does, you know, banks don't just take what you give them on face value. They do their own evaluation.
Mm-hmm. Trust me on that one.
Mm-hmm.
No bank filed a complaint. As a matter of fact, the banks he had borrowed from testified in his defense. There was no investor out money. There was no victim in this whatsoever. It was simply a political witch hunt to begin with.
Right.
Now, the Attorney General ran on a platform of I'm going to get Trump. I mean,
Right.
I've never seen anything quite like this by the judicial system in our country. Now, nobody's above the law, and I'm not saying that, but if I ran for an attorney general and I said I'm going to get Biden, Biden is going down. Well, why is that? Well, he's going down.
Right, yeah.
Because I don't have proof because I haven't had a trial.
Right.
And then you're in and everything you've got is focused on him. It just doesn't seem like the American court system that we all would want to have.
No.
And so for 5 years, this has been going on. It's been handed down. It will be appealed, but it is unprecedented. And as you said, Rick, Mr. Wonderful, I saw him on several interviews.
Unbelievable.
He said, if this is allowed to stand, everybody who borrows money and borrows property
to buy property, yeah,
can be sent to jail.
Yeah.
And not that Trump will go to jail on this. This is a civil.
Understood. Yeah.
But the point is, this is crazy. There's no victim here.
Right. Well, I mean, perfect example. I mean, what we were trying to do at the farm. I mean, I was in good standing with the bank that wanted to set it all up, but even they said to me, but at some point, Rick, there's certain things that we'll have to vet out, we'll have to appraise, and if all that has to come in too.
Right.
We can't just say, hey, we like Rick, so let's give him whatever he needs to get this done. We have to answer, to federal, we have to answer to the board. There is a process, like you just said, to validate the value of anything. And look, we can all even say, we've all had appraisals we didn't agree with.
Right.
We're like, what? Mm-hmm. But you can't just say this is how much I say it's worth, and then everybody gives you money based on what you said. There's a vetting process. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, even appraisers, they have rules that they have to go by.
Of course, yeah.
But you can get an appraisal by 3 different appraisers, and you're going to have different values. You hope they would be close.
Right. Yeah. Well, and then the comparables, you got to find something near.
And then how do you find a comparable for a tower that Donald Trump owns?
Right.
I mean, how do you? I could own that tower.
Right. Yeah.
But if it had the Trump name on it, it would be much more valuable. How do you even assess that? But the point being, Trump can give the bank all whatever.
Yeah.
They go do their own evaluations,
right.
and then that's what they base it off of.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's very bizarre.
So anyway, it is, and then you were telling me that there's new products that he's doing.
Yeah, Trump made a surprise appearance at SneakerCon in Philadelphia.
SneakerCon, okay.
Are y'all familiar with that?
Well, I guess it's in the name, right? Is this where they have all the latest and greatest sneakers?
Is it like their Hamfest, Bubba?
Yeah,
it really is. I guess it would be for the sneaker world.
No. How about Hobby Robbie? I hate to bring up Robbie Gallaty again.
Hobby Robbie, is that his nickname?
He and his son went to this.
Did they really?
He said he told his son, let's go anywhere you want to go, father-son trip. And his son wanted to go to SneakerCon, and they went, and he showed pictures of it. I knew I'd heard of that before.
Okay. So
Wow.
Trump makes a surprise appearance, and he unveils his new shoe line. He's got a new shoe line.
There's a Trump, Air Trump. I mean,
it's called.
Have you seen it?
It's called Never Surrender High Tops. And it's gold.
They're shiny gold.
Yeah. Never Surrender High Tops.
So there they are.
Never,
the flag
with an American flag on the back.
What company is producing these?
I guess it's Trump shoes.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Like Trump steaks.
It may be.
Yeah. He's also got some cologne and some other things that came out too.
Right.
But the shoes were the ones that were making the headlines.
Well, I bet. So did they have them at SneakerCon?
You can purchase some of these shoes.
Talk to me about that now. Run that number for me.
$3.99.
$3.99.
Okay.
$3.99.
Is that normal? I'm not into this.
That's a little high.
We need to ask some megachurch pastor. He'll know.
Oh,
I mean, what is the?
It's probably in the ballpark.
Is that where they run?
Heck, you can't just go get some off the shelf for $340, $360.
Really?
Now.
Okay.
I mean, excuse me, $140 to $160.
Yeah.
That's just off the shelf in a sporting goods store. That's the standard
ridiculous.
going now.
Oh, look,
but
when you have the foot problems I have, you just try to find shoes that work.
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
and
Never surrender high tops.
and they're not very stylish.
Yeah, I remember when
gotta
just
love
regular tennis shoes were you'd be like, man, $80. That's too much.
That's too much, man.
And now it's
That's
like,
Chuck Taylor Converse. That's too much.
Yeah, these sneakerheads, a lot of times they'll buy something at $3 and then sell it online for $1,000.
Okay.
It's just it's rare.
Yeah, and I know folks that they buy sneakers and they don't ever wear them.
That was my next question.
They like put
You
them in the
got to my next
closet and they're like,
question.
no, they don't need a crease in them. No.
Are they collectibles? We don't even wear them.
Probably. I would think most do that, Rick.
Some people treat them like collectibles. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, if that's your thing.
I guess.
Just a closet full of them.
He also
Still in the box.
has unveiled a new cologne. It's called Victory 47.
Tell me again. Give me. I got to have it again.
Victory 47. If he is elected president, he will be the 47th president.
Victory 47. I wonder what it smells like.
There's also a perfume.
Like victory,
There's
right?
also a perfume version of that for $99 a bottle.
Okay. So it smells like victory, Greg. Is that what it
Smells
is?
like victory.
Do you smell it?
By the way, on that note, there's a lot of nostalgia with this being the last year of Rick and Bubba and all that. That somebody went and got a smell of success, and I completely forgot about this, Bubba. Completely. I mean, was not in my mind. I would be interested to see if it's in yours. And the person says, "Well, I got it. Well, just so y'all know, I fell for the scratch and smell thing." Scratch and sniff, and I was like, "Huh?" And they apparently the first cut we tell them to scratch it, and they can smell it.
Oh,
and do you remember doing that?
Yeah, I do.
And the guy said, "Well, by the way, all these years later, that was the first CD we ever had. All these years later, I just fell for the bit again." And I was like, "I don't even remember the bit." So apparently, we told everybody it was scratch and sniff because it was called the smell of success.
Now, when he made,
I'm scratching it.
when he made his appearance at SneakerCon.
Yep.
sneakers.
They said that there was clashing boos and cheers.
Yeah. Well.
Some boos and some chants of USA. So apparently SneakerCon was evenly divided on Trump.
Well, yeah, I would think the SneakerCon crowd would be divided, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I would think it might be more against him than anything.
Now, if you're at a monster truck event, probably more Trump.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me say this, Bubba. You're right on that. But the reason why it wasn't completely booze is because things are so bad. People who normally wouldn't be drunk are starting to become drunk.
Right. That's a fact. Good point.
Yeah.
All right, so the website describes the shoes as a true collector's item that is bold, gold, and tough, just like President Trump.
I love it. Bottom of the hour.
I got to get some of those.
Yeah, somebody said they are a little bit overvalued. We'll be back. More Rick and Bubba coming up right after this.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
Go on to Elaine, Hoover, Alabama, not far from the studio, listening to ZZK. Elaine, what do you say?
Hey, wow, what a wheel.
Yeah! Trumpy Bear. By the way, have you ever seen the infomercial of Trumpy Bear?
Yes, I have. It's funny. Where did the hand of truth go?
I don't know. Is it in Greg's office? I think it's in Greg's office with a different hand gesture.
No.
Let's just go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah! Meat! It is. Meat for Elaine. Elaine, HarryandDavid.com will send you a $50 gift card. You can go to their website, order any cut of meat you want. They'll send it to you, and let us know how you like it, okay?
Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you, Elaine. Thanks for listening to Rick and Bubba. All right, we continue. Let's go to Ken. Ken is in Prattville, Alabama. Kenny, welcome to Rick and Bubba. How are you?
Hey, good.
What do you say to Greg?
Wow, what a wheel.
Come on, yeah. Greg with a little touch on it.
Little change up
Just
there.
a little touch on
like
it.
a four-finger fastball
Let's
there.
see. Come on, Ken. Let's see what happens.
Took a little off.
All right, Ken, see if Greg
Or the old palm ball.
yeah! Blaze TV! Blaze TV! All right, so Blaze TV it is, Ken. Are you already a subscriber?
No, sir.
Well, how about you are now? So Blaze TV will get in touch with you, and you'll get all the great programming. You get a little bit of Rick and Bubba every day. Also, you pick up Glenn Beck, Mark Levin, Crowder, Phil Robertson. The list goes on and on and on. And you will get to look at all that great programming at no charge for a year. So we'll put you on hold, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Ken, thanks for listening to Rick and Bubba. Appreciate that. We continue. Let's go to Luke in Auburn, Alabama. Hello, Luke. Welcome to Rick and Bubba. How are you?
I'm doing good, gentlemen. Wow, what a win!
Let's go, Gregory. Well, Luke, what are you hoping for?
Meat. I've won all kinds of stuff. Never meat.
Never meat. Okay. Yeah! Flowers! Smell it. 1-800-Flowers.com. You want some assorted roses, red roses, or assorted tulips?
I'll take the tulip.
Tulips. You're a tulip guy. I saw you as a rose guy. All right, I'll put you on hold. 1-800-Flowers.
Be careful and tiptoe through the tulip.
Let's go to Easley, South Carolina. Pammy. Hey, Pam.
Good morning.
What do you say to Greg?
Wow, what a wheel.
Reverse spin, Bubba.
Uh-oh, it's a reverse.
Reverse
Double
spin.
it back.
Let's see.
Was it Tiny Tim that sung that?
Uh-huh.
Talking about no talent.
Oh, my gosh. He's terrible.
I mean, what in the world?
Bubba, have you looked around? Meat. Pam, you got some meat. Meat it is. All right, so we'll put you on hold, and harryandavid.com will send you a $50 gift card. Use it how you want to, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Rick and Bubba Show in beautiful Easley, South Carolina. All right, Pam's on hold. There we go. All right, running out of time, but I think we can probably get another one.
Let's get one more.
All right, let's see if we can get one more. Well, let's go to Cameron. Cameron's out of Decatur, Alabama. Listen to 100.3 The River. Hey, Cameron.
My Cameron for you.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, Cameron. And my
Wow, what a wheel.
Come on! There he goes. Greg, I thought you might let the stranger spin it. You left hand. All right, here we go. All right, let's see.
There's a stranger in my house.
All right, Cameron, let's see what we got here.
Oh, yeah!
Henry the horse! Henry the horse! Oh! Yeah, Henry! Oh, Henry looks like he's coughing. Uh-oh, he's coughing. Henry.
I hope he hadn't been riding over in China somewhere.
Henry, you're coughing. What's the deal? You okay?
Hey, guys.
What's going on?
What?
You're coughing a lot.
I'm fine.
Henry.
Look, I'm fine.
No, get away from Bubba. No, breathe on Bubba. No. He's just coughing everywhere.
He's sneezing everywhere.
It's a Wuhan horse.
He's hugging on Speedy.
He's all over Speedy.
Oh, look out, Rick. Here
No! Get off my mind. No, he's touching my stuff. No, shoot that horse. Oh, Henry.
I'm fine.
35 minutes past the hour of the Rick and Bubba Show. HelloFresh. HelloFresh.com/Bubba. Look, jump on this before it's over. If you've been considering America's #1 meal kit, I mean, you need to move now. And I'll tell you why. Because if you're a new subscriber, for the length of that subscription, you're going to get a free breakfast item. And it is delicious. We love this item. Love this product. It really helps with meal planning. Gives you variety. It also gives you the ability to kind of take the hassle of, hey man, we do a combination of the two, but you know what it is. You have that grocery store trip every week, and you'll get a call. Hey, what do you want to eat? I mean, I'm down here. We want to do the same old things we've done every week, all week. But with HelloFresh.com/Bubba, you're looking at a list every week going, ooh, that looks good. That'll be great. And you're saving yourself money on your total food bill. You're not wasting food because they only send enough food for if it's 2 of you, 4 of you, 6 of you, whatever you need. They have all the pre-portioned ingredients. You prepare the meals yourself, but all the shopping is done. You just simply prepare it. They've got the recipe cards. They're fabulous. So if you'd like them, and they've got food for any occasion, go to HelloFresh.com/Bubba, HelloFresh.com/Bubba. Use the code Bubba, and you'll get free breakfast. There'll be a free breakfast item every time the box comes for the length of the subscription. So go now for this deal at HelloFresh.com/Bubba. Use the code Bubba. All right, so Bubba, there has been response. Because remember, everybody has a right to respond, and I know that we are living at a time now that people think that all conversations are only one-sided. That just isn't true. So you may go after Trump because you don't like him politically or think he's the worst thing the planet's ever known. But people who are supporting him, they may respond as well.
Well, we have a group of truck drivers who support former President Trump and have announced that they will not be driving to New York as a means of expressing their disappointment in the civil fraud judgment that fined Trump more than $350 million last week.
Wow.
All this comes in response to Trump being barred from operating businesses in New York for 3 years and found liable for more than 350, which we covered earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So a group of these truck drivers saying they're not going to drive there. I don't know how they can do that.
Right.
I don't know the ins and outs of this, but one guy says, I'm just one of many million of truckers who believe in God and love this country. He's known as Chicago Ray.
Look at Chicago Ray.
Twitter X.
He looks exactly the way you think he would.
He said, I stand with Trump because Trump stands with me.
Can I tell you this?
Truckers for Trump ain't just a slogan. It's real.
It's real, baby. And he has the coolest Trump hat I've ever seen. I love that hat.
I know.
That's
that
a good-looking Trump hat. You know, Trump's red hats are kind of goofy.
They are.
But let me tell you, this hat this guy's got on, it's got the raised lettering on it and everything. That's a good-looking hat.
I wonder where he got that.
I don't know, but I like it.
Much better hat.
I like that hat a lot. So, but yeah, can they do this? The first thing that I thought of is how in the world are we going to give all these supplies to the illegals that are living in New York now?
Well, apparently, as I look onto this, one of the posts he made on social media, he said, I've been on the radio for over an hour, and I've talked with at least 10 truckers who are going to start refusing loads of Monday to New York City. So I guess they have, they're independent or they have some option if they will take a gig or not. So I guess if you're, if you fall under that category, you could refuse to go.
Yeah, so I
Just
guess
not take those jobs.
Yeah, independent contractor. I own my own truck. Everything. It's kind of like.
Is that his truck with Trump all
Is
over
it really?
That's a good looking.
I just
truck,
found a Trump truck. I just found a truck.
That's not just a mild statement. That's not a mild statement.
Really into
Let me tell you something. But like you guys, when we throw out our orders, I know it seems like we're talking about DoorDash and Uber Eats a lot because we like this new technology and we're trying to figure out how to make it work best. But I guess somebody can see that order and go, I'm not doing that one.
Yeah.
Are they in that same mode?
I'm sure.
So where's this going? New York City, I'm out. I'm not doing it.
I get,
Making it more difficult. The independent truckers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that. I guess they could do that.
But if you have something to ship there and you get 5 or 6, 7 telling you they won't do it, I guess you're in a handle, right?
Well, I'm with you, Bubba. I would think that our system works, and one of the ways it works is we need independent truckers to be part of that, and when they remove themselves, I would think it makes that process more difficult.
It could I don't know how many will actually do it, but it's interesting.
Yeah. So
the truckers in Canada made a big difference when they pulled into the capital city and just parked.
Yep.
Kind of shut that down.
He went on to say he just bought himself some of the new tennis shoes.
But he won't be able to get them delivered.
No, he won't. What are they called again?
Never Surrender High Top.
Okay. And then the cologne and the perfume is the smell of victory?
It's Victory 47.
Victory 47. What?
So interesting. I tell you what, you said it a minute ago. I don't remember if it was on the air or off the air. When will his opponents realize all this does?
Yeah.
It just galvanizes his supporters and it makes him stronger.
Mm-hmm.
You might as well just be feeding him fuel.
Yeah, I really don't think he would have been as big a factor if they'd left him alone after the election.
Right.
But they just kept on with this derangement thing. They just have to keep trying to stomp him out. I don't know if you get Democrat brownie points if you spear Trump or what the deal is, how they hand those out. But I think he would have probably hurt himself more if they'd have just left him alone.
Right.
Well, because what is his message to America?
They're out to get you.
Yeah, and they're out to get me, but what this really means, they're out to get you.
Yeah, I'm standing in the way.
When he says he's a victim and then all of a sudden you make him a victim, it's almost like the rally cry just gets louder.
Right.
More of the absurd today on President's
Are you going to
Day.
do this?
I don't have the complete list here, but
Right.
there's a story. You're going to see it and hear about it today. A new presidential ranking is out. And this is done by the Presidential Greatness Project.
Yeah, how about that?
Which touts itself as the foremost organization of social science experts in presidential politics.
Wow. Okay.
That's a big.
Well, excuse me for questioning
And
it.
get this. I want you to hear this number. Of the 154 respondents to the survey, 154? That's a sample.
Hold on a
sample there.
minute. I didn't realize it was that big.
Yeah. Listen, they are current and recent members of the President's and Executive Policy section of the American Political Science Association.
Wow.
as well as scholars who have recently published peer-reviewed academic research in key related scholarly journals or academic presses. Does that sound like a bunch of hooey or what?
I tell you
almost need a shovel to get through that.
When and where are they having lunch?
Wow.
So get this. They list Abraham Lincoln as the greatest president.
Okay.
Republican. They list Donald Trump as the worst of all presidents.
Just of all time.
Yeah.
Now, what really, you could go...
Okay. Maybe your opinion.
What about this meathead we got in there right now? Where are they putting him?
Well, Greg, just get ready.
The 14th.
Yeah.
14th?
I mean, some of this is...
Bubba, I found it. I'm going to walk it over to you.
Okay. So, George W. Bush is 19th on the list. Bill Clinton is 10th.
Here's the
10th.
for you.
10th.
No, that's Kennedy on this list. Is this the complete list? Here?
That's the list.
Okay, so they give the greatest president was Lincoln, then Roosevelt, then Washington, then Teddy Roosevelt, Jefferson, Truman, Obama at number 7.
Wait, 7?
Yeah, Eisenhower at 8, L.B. Johnson 9, Kennedy at 10, Madison 11, Clinton 12.
Clinton?
Listen. Biden is 14.
No.
Reagan is 16.
That's not true. They rank Biden ahead of Reagan?
Biden is 14th in this list. Reagan is 16th.
And the list is dead.
Yeah, and stop.
I mean, I would let you even leave Trump where he is if you're that mad at him. But you cannot put Biden ahead of Reagan. And if you just did what you did, then that is the end of the list.
There was any credibility.
And I didn't like that Clinton rating either, or the Obama rating.
No.
Obama and Clinton ahead of Reagan? Come on now.
Obama, Clinton,
You don't
and
mean that. You don't mean
Biden ahead of Reagan.
Yeah, you can be anti-Reagan, but you don't want to seem stupid.
Yeah, walk that out for me.
That's like you don't like a certain team because it's your rival, but they're really, really good, and you want to acknowledge they are good. Okay, come on now. Let's don't be like that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of silly.
That's a little upsetting for a Monday.
It takes away from your entire credibility on this.
Right.
I mean, it's just that's ridiculous.
I mean, at that point, if that person was up giving a speech, you stopped listening from that point. You didn't hear.
You may get them just leave.
You don't even hear anything. You know what you think? I came here to hear a list. I didn't know.
I got to go.
This ain't a list.
Hey, so that's what you're doing? I'm out.
Okay, I didn't realize we were gonna do that.
We can make a list too, I guess.
This Charlemagne the God, whatever his name is, thinks a lot of himself there.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
I hope he gets that corrected before he stands in front of the only living God. He is even calling Biden an uninspiring character. He said he just has no energy at all. Well, that's true. But they've got him ranked ahead of Reagan.
Well, that group thinks very highly of themselves.
Yes, they do.
I can tell you that.
Yes, they do.
No doubt.
We'll be back 15 minutes to the top of the hour. 866 We Be Big is the number.
They got Washington way down the list.
Was he 3?
What was it?
Sitting at 3? I
think they got 5 or 6.
Is he? Okay. I know they have people ahead of him. Yeah. More Rick and Bubba next.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
He's still coughing.
He's so sick the glue factory wouldn't take it.
Elmer's would have nothing to do with that. Henry looked a little sick.
Yep. A little down in the snout.
Oh, Henry. What a horse, though. So thanks to all of you for participating in the wonderful Wheel of Meat. We'll take Henry in the back and see if we can't get him his shots. The wonderful Wheel of Meat can spin at any time on the program. If you won something today, congratulations. If you didn't, then next week the wheel will be in play again. We'll come back. We'll continue to hit the stories of the day. We'll get your phone calls rolling on the program as well. Also, don't forget, check those upcoming events. Rick and Bubba upcoming events are coming they're showing up all over the country. Find out when one's coming near you. Baker, Florida, coming up this Saturday. The Bold Men's Conference. Looking forward to seeing all of you there. We'll be right back.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
We're back. 866 We Be Big is our number. Things you need to know. Still to come on the program, Secretary Ben Carson will be with us. We'll talk to Whispering Ben Carson coming up next hour.
We'll look and review some of the upcoming Super Bowl commercials. That's still to come on the program today. Also, later today after the show, we will record the next edition, I think episode 17 of Rick and Bubba University, the podcast. Another Rick and Bubba profile. We interview Michael Helms. All things Michael Helms.
Hoorah!
Will be coming up.
That'll be a ratings monster.
That one's coming up this weekend when you wake up, so enjoy that.
That may push that one I did. We're going to be battling for the top spot.
We unpack it. So that'll be happening coming up this weekend. So Bubba, and I've had people ask about this, and I'm starting to get this on social media, emails, and things like that. So I told you that my wife Sherry's book, Bronner, A Journey to Understand, is coming to audible.com, iTunes, all the different places you get audiobooks. But, the days of the audiobook, this is kind of new stuff, and all of it's just about, I would say, almost 100% of it is self-publishing. The days of the way books, even in print, were done is changing rapidly because mainly people buy books online, or people go to audio, or they go to Kindle, or the whole publishing book world is so much different. Even Bubba, even when you and I did some books.
Yep.
So the problem is now we're also living in a time where you don't really interact with human beings much on customer service anymore. You mainly are having to read emails and click here and look at this, and if you have a problem, hit support, and we'll get back to you in a day or so. And so the process of doing this, and first of all, we have just incredible friends that were very, very kind and took Sherry into a studio, and Sherry is reading the book, which I've heard excerpts from it. It's going to be so very powerful. Excited about what God's going to do with that on top of what He's already done with the printed book. But anyway, so you have to do it all yourself, including uploading it to audible.com, and then it goes through a process of them having to approve it and then make sure everything. And they have all these different things, Bubba, which is where I want you to weigh in. So you have to go through this list, and they say, we want it at this level, and you got to do it here, and you got to break the chapters down this way. Yeah. And it's very specific. So Sherry's book was in the process, and Adler and Mark Phillips, who produced it, and Adler helping out getting it uploaded and all this. And so we were like, okay, it's out there. And so then you wait usually 10 to 14 business days for them to say it's live. It's rolling. Well, 14-day hit, and I reached out to customer service. I'm like, hey, something's going on here. Your book is being considered for rejection. And I was oh, boy. Oh, here we go. So then they finally sent me the things that they said were not right, that needed to be corrected. So for those of you that are waiting on it, that probably means we resubmitted it yesterday, but I have a specific question for Bubba. So now it will probably be 10 to 14 business days from now. So that's probably going to push into mid to late February now. So because we had to resubmit, now the process starts all over again. So here was the thing that I think, Bubba, I was going to say, I think they need to change, but I think it's fine unless you're like us and you worked in an industry that involves engineering, production. So the thing that we didn't do, and there was even discussion among a couple of engineers, Mark Phillips and another engineer that we know, Joel, and they said, well, the term they're using. Here we go, 9 minutes to the top of the hour. Still to come on the program, we'll talk to Andy Irwin about a new movie coming out this week, Ordinary Angels. We got weekend stories coming up. We'll hit those, including the Man Church Conference in Birmingham this past weekend. So we got that coming up. We got a Hunter Bus birthday celebration. We're going to give him a little love coming up too. 26 today. We'll do that coming out of the top. We're in different stages of life, like you hear us talking about these adult children. And one of them, if your parents are still with you at our age, it's the world of the aging parents, and there's a lot you need to do. And Greg and I on Friday after the show,
we had that day kind of set aside. And, you have to, Mom's 82 now. Dad passed in December. And so there's a lot of things that have to be changed. We had to go to the DMV because she's got to bring the car title and, get the tag in just her name and let them know that her husband has passed. There's a lot you have to do.
Yeah.
And
a
lot of paperwork. And so she can drive, but she didn't need to be driving all over town anymore. She's got her little comfort zone right around where she lives, and
as long as it's not raining.
And then of course our sister, just had a car wreck, so now she's actually using Mom's car, and she's recovering well. Thank you again for all your prayers there. So the thing that we're kind of starting to run into now, Mom is very sharp for her age and all that, but she's still 82, like we talked about, Bubba, and there's a certain amount that comes with that.
Right.
and as I said many times, love my mama. So thankful for my mama. I can't find any proof that we're Jewish, but Mom, she missed a good chance to be a Jewish woman because she has got the woe is me down, whatever, and it is the, it's y'all don't worry about me, I know y'all busy, of course I just don't feel right, and then, and so we I'm good, I'm over here, I need to do something about, power of attorney, but I know you don't have time for that. So she will literally ask us to do things and we'll get them done, but it's like she can't remember asking us to do them.
Right.
And it's not anything like what Dad went through. She didn't have, there's nothing like that. It's just, so Mom has been saying, and she, let me tell you another thing too about when your parents get to where they are fully retired and live in a retirement community is, and she is doing better about, being more active and stuff now that Dad has passed. But they have a lot of time to think about things.
Yeah.
And to get a list and get a list of things. And Mom's very, very good about, being on top of her paperwork and all that. And and if there's something that needs to be done, she's thinking about it. And so she had told me since we've come back from Christmas vacation, we need to get that. I need to get you power of attorney. We ran into that with your dad that you didn't have full power of attorney, and now that it's just me and I'm older too, we need to, oldest son, then Greg, then Angie, we need to get that paperwork done. So I went to a lawyer and got it done. Okay, and so we were doing all that, and she asked me to do that, and so I said, Mom, Friday's the day. The lawyer had gotten sick and had a surgery or some kind of sinus surgery, so we got delayed, and they gave me a day. Greg and I are going to pick you up. We're going to go down to DMV after we're done with the lawyer's office. All we got to do is go to the lawyer and sign all the paper. They've done all the paperwork. It's all done.
That's it.
It's done. Okay? Remember, Mom, you've been wanting this done? Yeah, we need to get that done. So Greg and I, we spend a great day with our mom and getting things done.
Yeah, we had fun.
We had a fun time with Mom. And it started when we got back in the truck. And we took Greg's truck because Mom has now lift kits beyond her.
Wasn't that kind of
necessary?
We get back into the truck, and I want y'all to stand by for this statement. Well, I don't know what in the world y'all got me signing.
We were like,
Mom,
I'm not sure what I just did.
I don't know what I just did. Mom, this is what you've been asking me to do. I mean, you were worried that we don't want to get in a situation like we did with Dad. When you wanted me to handle things, they would say, well, you don't have power of attorney. Your mom has power of attorney. And you wanted to transfer that, which is common with aging parents, to me, then Greg, then Angie. Well, there's no telling what I just signed.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not sure exactly what it was.
Mom, this is what you had us put. This is what you wanted us to do. And
she told me yesterday.
What are you trying to pull here?
It's still on her mind.
Yeah.
What are you trying
I don't
to
know
pull?
what I signed.
So listen to yesterday, Greg.
I don't know what I signed.
Greg talked to her yesterday.
I told her this doesn't affect your life at all. I said it's a worst case scenario thing. I promise you, you're good. Nobody's going to get your stuff.
Well, then Greg, of course, is going to use this to tell her what it is.
Yeah.
So basically, if there's decisions need to be made, you can't make, Rick will make them, and then if he's not here, I'll make them. If I can't make them, Angie will make them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, of course, Greg does not miss an opportunity. He said, "Mom, be careful when you eat today at lunch. Don't let Rick see you."
Yeah, he'll go ahead and send you on.
She goes, well, he'll pull the plug on me in a minute. and so I was
I think she was worried about that.
I said, Mom, no, I don't know. You asked us to do this.
Mom,
What in the world have I signed?
Mom, you're not walking. Yeah, first thing she said, I don't know what I signed. Well, I thought you set this up.
I literally thought my mom was going to look at me and go, "Thank you for taking care of this." You know what I mean? And she looks over and she goes, "Well, I don't know what in the world y'all got me signing." Mom, this is what you've been on me about. Before that, it was this. We need to get that power of attorney thing done.
Just own you about
yes, man. Can we do it after Christmas? Well, if I live. Okay, well, yeah, I think you'll live. You'll make it past Christmas.
That's funny.
First of the year. I know you got a lot going on. I know how busy you are. We need to get that power of attorney thing done. Mom, Friday, we're getting it done. I don't know what in the world y'all had me sign.
I don't know what I signed. That's what she told me yesterday. I promise you, it's fine. It doesn't change anything. Your life is just like it was before we signed.
So we go do the DMV, and that was a little more complicated.
Was it? Was that more than just standing in line?
Yeah, because you know Dad's name's on everything, so she has to give them death certificate. She has to give them, the title of the car, and it all has to be changed over. And so we sit down. Now it's so much better than it was. Well, I feel like we should probably be up there by now. Mom, we just sat down.
Yeah, not been there long.
I said, you see the A790? That means auto. So. Well, that person that person came in after us. Yeah, but see, he has a different letter by his name. That's DL, so he gets to go to the driver's license thing.
Different
group.
How
is he going before us? Because we're not here for our driver's license.
No, we're in a different group.
That just gives me more time to think about this thing I just signed.
I finally got up and walked out in the lobby.
Greg laughed. Did you really? Went out in the lobby.
Stretching my legs. I'm good.
Stretching my legs. So just don't eat that. Watch out with Rick's feet.
So when you're getting up, so we've been going. So with this thing I'm doing now, so I'm giving you my car. No, you're not giving me the car.
No, everything's it's just like it was.
It's just giving you your car. No, Mom, this is it's just getting everything in your name. So next time you can even email your tag if you want to. It's good. Well, I don't. I mean, that thing's old. It probably ain't worth nothing. It's not my car, Mom. It's still.
It's your car.
Yeah. Well, your sister's got it. Yeah, because she had a wreck. Yeah. She's third in line, by the way. Oh, really? Well, I should have put her first.
Yeah. She considered it.
I don't know what in the world y'all have me sign.
Yeah.
The thing you've been asking about for months.
Yeah, you actually brought it to us.
Right.
Oh, goodness.
Top of the hour. We'll be back. More Rick and Bubba coming up right after this.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
All right, let's talk Hillsdale College. I mean, this is the most precious commodity. So many of you out there have asked for advice on how you could spend your time wisely. What can I do with my time to improve myself and also the people around me? Well, you could do history, you could do economics, great works of literature, the meaning of the U.S. Constitution. Did you study any of these things in school? Well, at one time you probably did, but if you're a certain age, you probably haven't. Even if you did, you probably need to be refreshed in all this. Did you know that time and technology, they changed so many things, but they have not changed basic fundamental truths about the world and our place in it. So if you're tired of scrolling through shows and binging this and what mind-numbing content, we've all done it. Why don't you take this free time that you have and make it count? Hillsdale College is offering more than 40 free online courses in the most important and enduring subject. You can learn about the works of C.S. Lewis, the stories in the book of Genesis, the meaning of the U.S. Constitution, the rise and fall of the Roman Republic, the history of the ancient Christian church with Hillsdale College's online courses, all available for free. What? Yeah, free. Won't you sign up for ancient Christianity? I think now more than ever, we need to understand our faith, the history of our faith. It's an 11-lecture course. You'll story the stories of Christ, his apostles. Also, the first 4 centuries of Christianity are covered there, and the heroes of our faith. You'll learn how to how to argue and to defend our faith with the Christian apologists. And you'll learn that from who? People who face persecution, right? They should know. So here's the call to action. Go to hillsdale.edu/rickbubba to enroll. There's no cost. I'm going to say that again. It's just benefit. It's easy to get started. That's hillsdale.edu/rickbubba to register. One more time. Hillsdale.edu/rickbubba
www.edu/rickbubba. With every chapter, allow a half a second to a second and a half of room tone. Well, when we were coming up, that's when you would take tape and put it in, and a tone would let you set your levels, and then whatever was on that tape started.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they were like, well, this is digital, so there's no need for this because it's not necessary with digital files that have been recorded digitally and now will be downloaded or listened to digitally, so they didn't do it. Well, they're coming back and say, well, you got to do that. Well, Adler and I yesterday were trying to figure out what are they talking about a room tone, and really what they're talking about is silence.
Yeah, they want a silence, a break.
Well, what it should say then on the instruction is
we need a silence.
For each chapter or each file,
give us dead air.
Give us silence for a half a second to a second and a half on the front end and the back end.
Right.
Because when the engineer people saw the term room tone, they're like, well, that's a tape phrase that we used back in the days of tape, where you put a tone on there for everybody to set their levels before they started. And I'm really suggesting sending customer support, y'all need to change this phrase to silence. Yeah. Silence, we know immediately what to do now.
Sure. I've never heard the term room
tone. That's a bad phrase because you're trying. What are you talking about? But I know what it is. The way they set them up. That way, if you're listening to it, it'll move from chapter. They'll probably put a sequence in there that'll move it from chapter to chapter to chapter. Well, the other thing was, and it was brilliant. They said we want one file that is nothing but the end.
That's it.
The end. Well, we have the epilogue in there. No, the epilogue cannot end it. We have to have the phrase "the end."
The end.
So Adler and I were up here yesterday, and we're trying to get this thing resubmitted. And he goes, "I think I can go in here and find her saying the end."
Oh yeah.
Throughout this audio, and the brilliant editing job he did, that he finally puts together words that Sherry said to make her say at the end, "the end." And so no, if you're one of these people, I guess, that goes all the way to your book says the end, you'll
different file.
Just remember when you hear Sherry say the end, it was a masterful editing job by Adler. So room tone. I mean, that
Rick, can we hear the end?
Yeah. You want to hear that?
Out of
yeah.
Skype.
Are you coming out of Skype? Yeah. So listen to what Adler did. This is incredible.
Bronner, A Journey to Understand by Sherry Burgess. The end.
The gravy, please. Rick and Bubba. Ooh, it brings me to my knees.
Rick and Bubba.
Here we go. Another hour of the Rick and Bubba show from the Big Boy Studio. A brand new hour starting now. We got Speedy, the real Greg Burgess, Helmsy, Eddie Van Adler, all here. We're about to have a chat with Andy Irwin, too. But, Bubba, a big birthday shout-out today for one Hunter Buss.
That's right. I want to wish my son, Hunter Bussey, a happy 26th birthday today.
Wow.
Very proud of you, young man. And
26.
I know. I can't believe it.
Golly.
26.
I remember in the hospital when he was born.
Yep. Yeah, me too.
We had several celebrations over the past week, and just Can't believe you're 26, man. Cannot believe
I cannot believe
Heading towards 30.
the day that I walked in, not completely impersonating a doctor because that's a federal offense, but walking in on the little fund we had at Betty's expense, me dressed as the doctor and said, "Let's see how you're progressing." I cannot believe.
Yeah,
that's been 26 years. I
Flies
can't
by,
believe
doesn't
it.
it?
I cannot believe
Was it Hunter or Caitlin that you wanted me to stop and get a Frosty for Betty?
That was Hunter.
I thought so.
Yeah. I asked her what she wanted because you'd called. You were coming in. And
Boy, it's hard to
I
beat a
said,
good
"Do you
old
want
Frosty."
anything?" She said, "Get me a Frosty."
I can see that.
I mean,
wow.
And you're all up there.
20.
All this and that.
I mean,
all this and that.
It was
26 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it went by quick. It was with Hunter. It was kind of nerve wracking to me because I'd not been through that.
Yes.
With Caitlin, I felt a little more
Sure,
relaxed because I
sure.
knew what to expect.
Sure.
But man, it was an exciting day.
Yeah.
So,
Well, he's
love you, bud.
good man, and
birthday,
just so have a great day, Hunter Bussey. So Andy Irwin is standing by with us. The movie's called Ordinary Angels. We have
And it may be his birthday today.
Is it your birthday? Andy's your birthday today, by any chance?
It's not, but if it helps sell movie tickets, yes, it's my birthday.
Well, we had a 1 in 365 chance
That's
of getting
right.
that right.
So Andy, welcome back. So good to talk to you. We have been through. It's so funny. I got an email that just happened when I promoted you were coming up, and they said, "You know what? October Baby was my first experience with the Irwin brothers. I cannot believe all the projects that it's kind of like Hunter's birthday. You can't believe 26 years went by that fast. So from October Baby to Ordinary Angels and everything that's happened from then to now, it's been quite a ride, hasn't it?"
Man, it has. I mean, I can't believe it. Like when we started, you guys were the first radio show to take a chance. And it's just because I stood out your window like a homeless man asking to be on the air. And I just held the DVD cover up to the window until you guys felt sorry enough for us to let us in. And man, just to see what God's done from October Baby 15 years ago to now, like, last year with Jesus Revolution coming out, it was a moment. And like God really breathed on this moment. And because of that, Lionsgate is releasing 4 films with us this year, the first of which is Ordinary Angels. So we're really, really grateful.
Yeah, that Lionsgate move, it's kind of what I've heard said many times. First person I've heard to say it was Scott Dawson. You know, when you're trying to advance the kingdom, and there's people doing that all over the world, what they do, they don't do for money, but what they do requires money. And sometimes when a Lionsgate says, "You know what? We couldn't care less what the message is as long as you sell movie tickets, we're in." And so that you guys have established that there is a legitimate market, you and others, for people to go see faith-based films or just good family entertainment without all the garbage. Yep. And so tell us about Ordinary Angels that's coming out this weekend.
Well, see, Ordinary Angels is a true story. It was brought to us by the most unlikely source on the planet, Dave Matthews from the Dave Matthews Band, who's not a person of faith, saw this true story that happened in Louisville, Kentucky. And it was about this little girl that her life was saved by this community rallying around her, led by this unlikely hero named Sharon. And the little girl needed a liver transplant. And her father had already lost her mother to the same condition. And so he was fighting to keep the family afloat. And the church rallied around this little girl in the midst of the biggest blizzard in the history of Kentucky, and they got her airlifted to go get a liver transplant. And it's a true story. So Dave Matthews brought it to a producer friend of ours that was the producer for Elf. So it was Dave Matthews to Buddy the Elf, and then somehow it made it Lionsgate, and they brought it to us. And they brought it, it was like, and so when they brought it to us, we found out that it was about Southeast Christian Church in Louisville, and we know the pastor, Dave Stone, and so we were so excited to tell the story. So Alan Ritchson plays Ed. Alan Ritchson from Reacher, literally the largest, most muscular person on the planet. Dude intimidates the heck out of me. And then we got Hilary Swank, 2-time Oscar winner, playing Sharon. It's fantastic.
Well, yeah, you've done a couple of movies with Hilary now. Y'all got a pretty close pipeline with her, huh?
Well, you got these actors that it's pretty cool because, like, for a while, Christian movies had such a stigma that people were nervous to do them. Now these big actors are wanting to be on it, and so Hilary really registered with this story and wanted to do it, and like she's royalty. And then Alan Ritchson, the dude's he's a believer. I don't know if you've ever watched his Insta Church YouTube channel, but he preaches once a week on YouTube.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And he's a Christian, so it's cool to see things. The stars are getting bigger and bigger in front of the screen.
You know, I didn't think of this. Maybe next year, the Man Church Conference, we will have a MMA fight between Allen and Robbie Gallaty.
I would pay to see that.
The two biggest men of faith. The two biggest men of faith. All right. So I want to ask you a question on the based on a true story. I'm going to get a little bit, behind the scenes here and just talking
Don't
about.
ask it, Rick.
I'm not going to ask you.
You're going to ruin it.
I'm not.
This is between me, you, and your audience.
Right. No, I'm not going to go there. That's for Greg. So when you take based on a true story, okay, and we've been through this with you with Woodlawn and whatever.
Yeah.
How do you handle, from a responsible standpoint, putting things together? You can't do everything exactly like it went because the movie would be too long. How do you go about saying, here's how we put this together to honor the story and to make the main point? What's the process of that?
We get the real life people involved, and because it's like a lot of times what happens in Hollywood is people take that, and that based on true storyline gives the permission to just use the concept, and it's not accurate. And so we feel like, we owe it to the real life person for it to represent what they went through, but it's doing a portrait, not a photograph. So it's like, if I were to paint a portrait of you, I've got to condense your entire life experience down to 2 hours. And so it's really about getting things in the right order, but it should feel honest to exactly what they went through. So in a case like Ordinary Angels, I would say 85% of this is accurate. And, like in our big climactic scene, the helicopter landing in the snowstorm, in real life that happened during daytime, but at night it looked better on film.
Right.
And so it's more dramatic. So, a few of those things you take liberties on. But the cool thing is the most honoring experience, whether it's American Underdog with Kurt Warner, or, Woodlawn that actually had my dad as a character in the film played by Sean Astin. The coolest moment is showing the final film to the real life people. So with this one, Ordinary Angels, they showed it at Southeast Church 3 weeks ago. 2,000 people were there to watch it. Ed, the real life Ed and Sharon were there in the audience. And a lot of the people in the audience were like actual people that helped shovel snow that day. And so they watched it and they got a standing ovation. They're like, it's our story. So, that's always like a badge of honor. It's like, okay, it's a movie, but let's make it good, but let's make it real.
Andy, I've got to know where you're at right now.
I'm in New York.
The city, baby.
I'm uncomfortable. This place, I'm a fish out of water. So we're doing the premiere tonight in New York. I don't even know what theater. They just tell me where to go. But we're in the city, and they decided to do the premiere in New York because Alan did the Tonight Show on Friday. Hilary did the Tonight Show on Wednesday, and we stayed in New York for the premiere. So I got to get dressed up of some sort. It's always look slightly homeless when I'm on a red carpet, but I just go with it.
I mean, you've been on a few now, though. You ought to be getting pretty good at that.
Yeah. Well, I never look good in a suit. It's not good. I mean, in fact, like I do have a bone to pick with Rick because when I saw him, in between breaks, I was like, he got on the camera, and I was like, every time I get on, he gets in better shape. And like that, there was a contract that I signed when I became a Rick and Bubba fan that it was the two sexiest fat men alive. Right. Rick is breaking that contract. So Bubba, I think you ascended to number one. I would like to put my hat in the ring for a strong second choice. I would like to
don't joke, Andy. You might get a shot.
And Bubba has your sale. But speaking of that, Blake, my son that was in Woodlawn with you, he and his wife live in the city, so you need to let him know you're there.
That's great. That's fantastic. Is he doing theater or what's he doing here?
He's doing a little bit of everything. He just finished something up with Jersey Boys and something that was down in South Florida, but he's doing a little bit of everything.
Andy,
I love that kid.
Andy, how did you end up casting Alan? How did that come about?
It was cool. So John Gunn directed this one. I produced this one with my partner Kevin, and John Gunn really, really was a fan of Alan, and he was just like, this guy is, he's going to be huge. And Reacher, the first season, had just finished, releasing, and it wasn't like the big hit that it is right now. And but he met with Alan and was like, this is the guy. He's got the heart. And he really pushed for him. And he found out he was a Christian and he was outspoken about his beliefs. So he lobbied hard. the studio wasn't sure about him because they're like, I don't know if he's big enough to carry the movie. Well, the movie was supposed to come out in October, but Taylor Swift decides to release her concert in theaters and kind of dominate the landscape.
Yes.
And then it like completely took over the fall. And it gave us a good excuse to push because the strike was going on and all the actors couldn't get out in front of the film. Well, when we pushed to February, all of a sudden Reacher, the second season, comes out and it just becomes a phenomenon. And Alan is the new bad guy in the Fast and Furious movies. And so he's gone to being like a top of the list. And it was just the right choice. But this is a side of him people aren't going to expect. He's got some dramatic chops. This guy, he's not all muscle. He's a really good actor, and he kills it in this. There's a couple of scenes that just own me in this film where it just, brings some tissues. As a dad trying to fight for your kids, it registers.
Andy Irwin, thank you, brother. Always. Ordinary Angels coming out this weekend. Go to ordinaryangels.movie. We'll put that in show notes today, but find a theater near you this weekend and go out and see a great, inspiring story and a great movie. Ordinary Angels in theaters everywhere this weekend. Thank you, Andy Irwin.
Thank you, Andy.
Stay in it, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Now we'll be right back. More Rick and Bubba right after this.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
Hey,
Hello, Bubba.
How about it, Rick Burgess? Friends, neighbors.
excitement. A lot of folks looking forward to this game. Two teams that appear to have the ability to score if need be, and it looks like it could be an exciting game. Although, like I said, we came up in an era when there were a lot of blowouts. So, but even if one team gets ahead, I think both teams have the offense where they could score quickly.
We shall see.
Yep.
And this time, San Francisco may be forced to throw the ball more than 8 times.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens. Now, for those of you that are new to the United States of America, or you may be peering in from somewhere else around the world, you will see that Americans know how to throw a party.
Yes.
And it'll be a spectacular a spectacle. It will be there'll be a lot going on.
And we'll have a halftime.
That's right. We will. Yes, we will. So things we'll talk about. The Czar Trophy back up for grabs. We'll go around and get our Super Bowl predictions. We'll get the score, and then we'll figure out what our tiebreaker will be. That probably will revolve around Mahomes, I'm sure, or something like that. So we'll give you that and those predictions as we go into the weekend. We'll certainly talk about that. Bubba mentioned that the impeachment. I don't know why I do this to myself. We refer to this as one of the Rick and Bubba life truths, and this is our mouth ulcer analogy, where mouth ulcers hurt, but for some reason you keep sticking your tongue in them, and you can't leave them alone. But I don't know why I made myself watch a little bit of that last night. Sherry and I decided we were just kicking around. We'd watched a movie, and we ever had it when you sit down to watch a movie and the movie's over and it's not quite late enough to go to bed, but it's too late to start anything else.
Right.
And then Sherry's like, "We'll kick around. Let's look at the news, see what's going on there." And I'm really concerned about Hannity. I hope he can. I'm his blood pressure is he seeing a doctor on a regular basis?
I don't know, man. He is lost. I said lost it. He is fired up.
Well, the thing about it, Bubba and I talked about it in his office. There's a cardboard box in the floor in Bubba's office, and I said, I can handle things that are up for debate, and we're trying to figure something out. That doesn't really frustrate me. But when I'm standing there and one person is pointing at a cardboard box saying it's a cardboard box, and the other person points at it and says no, it's not. that kind of illogical. Lack of just obvious truth drives me through the roof, and especially as you see now, because what we got down to is really politics has become like sports fans. Anything my team says is right, and if your team says the exact same thing, it's wrong.
Right.
So if I have an R by my name and I say this, and I'm an R, then that's right. If I've got a D by my name and I say the same thing, and if I'm opposed to the R, then all D's believe what I said was right as long as a D says it. But if an R says it, then it's wrong, even if it's exactly the same thing.
Right.
And that kind of stuff is hard for me. I start feeling a little bit of angst on that because I'm like, well, this is illogical. This doesn't make any sense. We obviously have a truth here that it doesn't matter what letters by your name. This either can be done or it can't, or this can be said or it can't. You know, for if my president says executive power, then that's allowed in the Constitution. If your president says that he's trying to create a
cover up
a monarchy, you know, well, Dershowitz is basically just told the president he can do what he wants to do.
Well, that isn't exactly what he said. But that has been the soundbite. I mean, it
Right.
certainly was.
Here are the sound bites I was working. They're working on now. Not a true acquittal. That's look for that statement. When President Trump is acquitted, it will then be called not a true acquittal.
Yeah.
Because now last night, Sekulow. Hey, Sekulow?
Yeah, Jay Sekulow.
I always want to say Sekulow.
It's Dershowitz. I can't say.
Yeah, he got an inconvenient truth last night. Well, because now the Democrats are saying, well, if we don't call witnesses, then it's not a real acquittal. And then they found Biden in '99 saying there's no need to call witnesses to acquit a president.
Correct. Yeah.
Funny how politicians work. Isn't it?
But we're going to just pretend Joe Biden didn't say that, or we'll have to uncomfortably, because I've noticed they're not afraid to throw the Bidens on the bus if they have to.
Yeah.
You know, they may come back and go, well, you know, it was wrong when Biden said it. Well, but y'all loved him in '99 when he said it. Nah, but not anymore.
I think some of them have come to the conclusion we'll sacrifice Biden to get rid of Trump.
I think.
No, you're right, Bubba.
And I think that's making Joe Biden a little uncomfortable. Because
he keeps saying, I'm not in these deals. I am not in these deals.
That's not a true acquittal.
No.
So if you think the acquittal, if it comes today, it means it's over.
No, they'll use it.
Ooh, it brings me to my knees. I can't stop.
We're back. Rick and Bubba's show. Thanks to Andy Irwin. And get that on your list to go see it. I know if you're like a lot of us, we're kind of getting into our topic here. You're trying to find things to go see that are actually, you know, inspiring, funny, and not full of smut. And it's hard to find these days. So whether you're a person of faith or not, if you just like great movies and you're just kind of a decent human being, and you'd like to see, you'd like to be entertained, but it'd be something you don't have to go home feeling, I don't know whether I should have been in the room or not for that one. But anyway, so Ordinary Angels out this weekend. So we're getting some emails today, and Bubba sent me one today, but I did end up seeing it directly too. But and you've replied, and here's another one coming in too. And we try on this show, we really do. We do try to give you good guidance when we have products that are being promoted on the show, and that's entertainment as well. We have known John Morgan for how long?
Many
long time.
Many.
Long time. And we have always had John Morgan on the list of comedians that if you went to see his show, we didn't really have anything to be concerned about. He's not gonna. I never have thought him to be. I know he can be a little edgy, which sometimes can be funny, but I've never known him to be nasty or anything like that. I mean, unless I'm just ignorant. Am I ignorant to that? I mean, I
didn't think so either.
Yeah, and so we have had a couple of emails coming in of people who actually spent money to go and see. Because what we like to do is this: we got Henry Cho sitting here. I know Henry Cho forward and backward on what he's going to do. You're not going to have any issue whatsoever. You're going to have fun. It's going to be clever, and it's going to be clean. James Gregory, clever and clean, with maybe just a slight little something every now and then that your uncle might say, but nothing nasty.
Little uncle language.
Nothing nasty.
Right.
But Craig Shoemaker, if he's on the show, we're always going to make it crystal clear that we like Craig. We disagree with Craig on the big issues of life, but he's a kind guy. He's good to us.
He's funny on the radio.
And he's funny on the radio. But if you go see him in concert, we always tell you, now what you're going to see in concert is not what we did on the show today.
Right.
That's right.
We give you a warning about that. Didn't know we needed to give that warning on John Morgan. Now, I won't say any names, but we've had comedians in the past that told us one thing and did another, and we stopped having them on because we couldn't trust it. You would tell us you did a clean show. We would say that, and then people would say that he's not telling you the truth, or she, or whatever. Yeah. So we apologize. Apparently, some who went to the John Morgan show this past weekend did not have. It was not inexpensive to go, and y'all have made that very clear. And everything's expensive these days. They thought the quote on this latest one. Honestly, thought I was going to have more of a Jeff Foxworthy kind of experience. Boy, was I wrong. I've never been so disappointed and disgusted in my life.
So apparently the comedians before John were filthy, and John was not what we had hoped. So we apologize for that. That we that we take responsibility for that. We didn't do a very good job on that. I will tell you, it was an honest mistake. It was. And we thought we knew that show apparently better than we did.
I didn't even have him in the hey maybe category.
And I haven't seen John Morgan perform. I think I saw him maybe do a corporate thing years ago. My experience with John has mainly been here, but we've never had the emails in the past that we're getting today.
Right.
And so we apologize for that. Yeah. We will take a note of that. Like we said, there are guests that come on that we know that we don't, we're not in sync with them when they go hit the stage. But when they come in here, they treat you, the audience, and us with respect, and they do. They're funny, they're clever, they're clean, and we warn you that if you go to see them, it's not going to be that way. We would have given that warning about the John Morgan show if we had known, and we just didn't know. So that's on us to a degree, but I apologize for that. And I hate that we put you in that situation, and know that was not something that was done irresponsibly or reckless on our part. We just we thought we knew, right? Yeah. I mean, how many years has he been on?
A lot.
And we'd never have the emails like we're getting today. And some of that may also be. Now, one thing I will admit, when you're dealing with people that, I don't know, they don't have a say on who their opening acts are. Some do, some don't.
Right.
It's according to how big you are.
You could get anything on that.
Yeah.
You don't know.
But that has been what's happening now is the cleaner comedians are realizing that they can do the theaters and the concert halls and the arenas, and the comedy clubs. They don't do much of that anymore. I think that may be just a different experience. But I just hate that. I don't like when, we're seeing somebody said, I'm out $200. Here's another one. I'm out $120, and we end up leaving, and it was filthy. And I just hate that, especially now when that dime is really everything's more. So we just humbly apologize to you. We didn't know. Yeah. And if we had known, we would have warned you or not had him on. One or the other. We'll come back. We'll continue to do recaps from the weekend. The Man Church Conference Birmingham finished up this past weekend. Got to meet guys from 11 different states coming to our home city. And it was a powerful weekend. And, of course, as usual, some shenanigans always goes on when you got a bunch of guys hanging out together. We'll be right back.
Rick and Bubba.
Ads.
Greg, it's not a true acquittal.
No, it's not.
I've got the
if
latest.
You want to call that acquittal?
I've got the latest head count. When we come back, I'll tell you where they are today and why many people think it will come to an end.
Right. As we get into, now you said a minute ago, now Schiff is trying to cut some deal where he said, look, if we won't have witnesses for long, how about 1 week?
Yeah. Just 1 week. Give me 1 week. We'll wrap it all up. We'll be out of here. We'll even let the Senate do some other things while we're hearing from them.
Hey, Adam Schiff, you got crazy eyes.
Yes.
Okay?
I mean,
yes.
You have, I don't know where you are now. You've left. Yesterday, he started doing this weird thing he does where he gets up and acts out like he's doing improv.
Yeah.
He acts
things that he thinks might have happened behind the scenes, but it's really not evidence.
No, you don't have a trial where somebody gets up and says, tell me what happened. Well, I don't know exactly what happened because I wasn't there, but let me tell you what I think happened.
Yeah.
Putin comes in and then he does a little voice like he's Putin. And I mean, he's become like a one-man show.
So,
I mean, it's like, Adam, settle down.
Here's where we are.
Some truth would be awesome.
After all the opening comments, after all the questions that have been asked, we're down to this point. The Democrats want to call witnesses who are pertinent to what they call the case. That means only people who are against Trump.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
The Republicans have said there's no need to call witnesses, and if we do, we're calling some for our side that's going to include the Bidens and may include Schiff.
I was about to say, and that's when Joe Biden keeps getting nervous.
Yeah. So the Senate will have a vote on that today. Susan Collins, Republican from Maine, has come out and said she will vote to hear witnesses.
Oh, boy.
But we have not heard from Lisa Murkowski from Alaska, Mitt Romney from Utah. We did hear from Lamar Alexander, who was the other vote they needed from Tennessee. who has said, and I'm paraphrasing, he said they've made their case. Trump withheld some money temporarily because he wanted a favor, and it was inappropriate, okay? But it's not an impeachable offense. We're not going to remove a sitting president with an election coming up a few months away. This is crazy. I think his quote, he said, you're going to throw gasoline on an already deeply divided country. And this is crazy for us to do this. So he has said no to witnesses because we don't need it anymore. You've made your case. I buy in, but I think it was inappropriate. I don't think it was impeachable. So if you're running the numbers, it looks like that would be enough to prevent witnesses from coming forward. They'll vote on that today. If they do not vote to have more witnesses, they will immediately move to acquit, and I think you will see the numbers somewhat similar to that.
Bubba, it's not a true acquittal.
Yeah.
Two things you're going to get right now. Here's the two things the Democrats are singing right now. Now, completely hypocritical, and if it was their president, which we have proof of this already in the past, they just act like the history's never been kept.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody ever recorded anything. Nobody wrote anything down.
Chris Wallace, Fox News, said that there was some video of Nadler that he wishes he would probably burn from Earth, just disintegrate it because of some stuff he has said in the past.
This is the two big, because the Democrats, they get together like the sheeple over there. Once the whoever the shepherd is says, here's our talking points, buddy, they go right in. Yep. And the talking points now is Alan Dershowitz has basically allowed Donald Trump to be a king, okay? And that one, you'll hear the same, and they'll even throw monarchy out there too.
I heard he had quit the defense team.
Well, because he said he did all he was hired to do, and that was represent the Constitution. And so he's done.
I'm not working for the Republicans or the Democrats. I'm working for the Constitution, and I'm done. The other one is, which also shows he doesn't have any political ties to Trump. He's made that pretty clear. Matter of fact, he probably doesn't even want to be associated with it.
Right.
But then the other is not a true acquittal. If you don't have witnesses, now here's what they're gonna conveniently forget. They said there were no needs for witnesses for Bill Clinton to be acquitted. Don't miss that.
Right.
Okay, and then they're gonna do sound clips of Obama saying, well, if Congress doesn't do this, this, and this, I'm going to exercise my executive powers. And his quote was, if they won't do it, I will. Now, when he does that, it's not a king, it's not a monarch.
Not a monarch. Yeah.
But now, if a Republican does it, it is. So there's no consistency whatsoever to anything other than, it was a country singer, I think, and I've never forgotten it because I just laughed at the title. And we have the bad music of it some, and we play it. But I think the artist was Terry Clark, the country artist, and the song was called "I Just Want to Be Mad." And that song fits so many things. Look, Democrats
pulled out Terry Clark. That's good.
Well, you know how I remember. You know how certain things stick in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Is I've had it on this bad music, and I've laughed at that title so long that it.
We're back. 35 minutes now past the hour. Thank you for being with us. Preparewithbubba.com. Yes, My Patriot Supply is asking the question, are you ready? Prior planning prevents poor performance. And they can help you prepare. We put our URL together. Right now, if you're looking to have non-perishable food that can be stored up to 25 years, so you can be ready for something as severe as a total collapse of the economy, hurricanes, tornadoes, flooding, or something as simple as we're just going on a hike. We're going hunting. We're going fishing. We're just going outdoors. We're going to be camping. It works for everything. Right now we're going to get you a 4-week emergency food kit. It includes 16 food and drink varieties. This means, there'll be no food boredom. A lot of variety. Over 2,000 calories per day available in these meals. No starvation either. And they're sealed inside ultra-durable packaging. These meals last up to 25 years in storage, as I mentioned. And they're perfect for those situations that you just didn't see coming. It's a good feeling knowing, hey, you know what? If we're ready. So get ready now by going to preparewithbubba.com. As a listener of our show, $60 off a 4-week food kit right now, plus free shipping. And there's also a link at rickandbubba.com under the sponsors button.
So, Bubba, the weekend, y'all were celebrating Hunter Bussey's 26th birthday. We talked about that. A lot going on, and we had in Birmingham, Alabama, the Man Church Conference. And I'm still having people that are new to everything we do with themanchurch.com, and even had a guy going, hey, I went online and looked at some other things, so I'd like to go more, and I noticed it's only one speaker. Well, yeah, we only do – last year we did one conference, and this year we're doing two. The stuff you see on our website, it includes every time an individual teacher of ours, a speaker, is going out to speak. As a matter of fact, this weekend is full of those. February the 24th, Boone's Chapel Baptist Church, Prattville, Alabama. Lee Moore, our MVP, will be there. We call him the MVP because he does customer service at themanchurch.com with all the curriculum stuff. So he'll be there on the 24th. And then the 25th, we got man churches everywhere. Blake Prime will be in Webster, Florida, at First Baptist Church, Florida. Brian Gunn will be at Twickenham Church in Huntsville, Alabama. Tony Cooper will be at First Baptist Church, Tallahassee, Alabama. And Scott Dawson will be at First Baptist Church, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So Lee is on the 24th in Prattville. All the other guys are on the 25th, and they are everywhere. And when that's just a man church service, that means that's a church that's doing the discipleship strategy. But the conference is when they come from all over. And guys, they came to Birmingham, Alabama this past weekend, about 1,600 strong, 11 different states represented. And, man, we had an incredible experience. Robbie Gallaty spoke on Friday night. And then we had Wingo and Andy Blank speaking on Saturday. I spoke on Friday night and on Saturday. Chuck Hooten brought another group of incredibly talented people in. And just some of the images, our pastor mentioned this past Sunday. He had gone and done a conference somewhere in Florida, a men's conference. And he said, I really believe that there's a revival going on with the men in this country. And the only hope for this country is for a revival to be taking place in the men of this country. And seeing moments like this, when you see men all together, I think we had around 72 men that this was the weekend that they stood up in front of all these men and said, I want to repent and follow Jesus. We're celebrating that. But just the worship experience, there's something about hearing men sing. There's Robbie Gallaty up there, of course, towering over everyone. Oh, yeah. And so, Adler, if you have that little 15-second clip, because, the worship leaders talk about this all the time. They say, a lot of times when we're doing worship in like our church or at a church, you don't really hear the men like you'd want to. Mm-hmm. And sometimes men won't sing in church. I mean, I know sometimes men aren't comfortable with that. But when men get together and it's just other guys and you hear things like this, just those men's voices. If that doesn't put chills on you, then something's wrong with you. I mean, that is phenomenal. So, but of course, anytime you have men getting together, there's always shenanigans. I think one of the funniest things, and we've been talking about the sheer size of Robbie Gallaty, and I had warned everybody about it, and I could tell people on the team thought I was exaggerating. And Andy Blanks, who was he spoke, but he also handles getting all the study guides for our 40-week curriculum. He runs Iron Hill Press. They publish everything that we do, and Andy's a great writer himself. But he and teacher, he is a Marine, and he's been on the show. Y'all have heard him before, and he said this. He said, I met Robbie Gallaty. I am a Marine, so I'm not afraid of anything. But I will say, meeting a man of that size makes you go over your exit strategy. and I thought, you know what, that's a good word right there. It makes you kind of think, all right, if I had to exit, what is my strategy?
Right.
And then Wingo was there, and y'all know that Wingo, every time we have sometimes a little fun at Wingo's expense, which he doesn't care for, and he's always looking to get me back.
Oh yeah.
So and I know y'all gonna press me on this, and if I was in y'all's position, I would too, completely. But I was rolling to the venue, Greg, after you and I had taken care of Mom, and Greg got to come on Friday night, which was great.
It was great.
And I get a call from someone asking about the conference, and I pick up pretty quick that this is involving political races coming up. And we don't really want to do anything political at these conferences. And I could tell there was probably a little bit of, and I just said, hey, man, if you want to come, we'd love to have you. This was a politician that was running for office. And of course, I said, the tickets probably exceed, any gift you could receive from anyone. So there's, but I'd be happy to, if you want to come, maybe we can find some way to, get you backstage or whatever. So I was thinking to myself, well, I hope if that works out, let's just keep it there. Well, apparently somebody got word to Wingo about that phone call, and more power to you, Wingo. And I'm gonna tell you, you got me, you got me, and you got me good. Okay.
He told me, yeah.
So he comes up, and Greg got to watch. He says, "Hey, have you been out in the lobby?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "There's a politician out there handing out tracts, telling everybody to vote for him." And I said, "What?" And of course he named who it was. I said, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "I knew it." Like that look, and I'm like, and I start scrambling to do something. He looks, he said, "Hey, just messing with you." And I said, "Good night."
Yeah,
gotcha. Good. I said, "Hey, you got me. You got me, and you got me. Your delivery was fantastic." I said, "You stayed calm. You didn't rush it. You even acted like you were kind of confused."
How big was he smiling?
Oh, from ear to ear. And then, of course, when I saw that, I had to get in on the act. Uh-huh. So we'll talk more about this week. We had Andy Blanks, who has secondhand embarrassment, and he'll just scream core temperature rising. We had a new devotional that came out, and of course, as we always do, because we're men, we literally got the devotionals in hand from the printer on Thursday, because God forbid we get that done early. You know what I mean? Because we're just not,
What snuck up on
whatever. And so anyway, so that's Andy's stressing over that.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know this, and this came from Les Bradford because I'm not in the publishing business. Well, the first time they run a book, they just want to see if the printer's working, and they don't even pay attention to how it's printed.
Right.
I didn't know that. Well, every now and then they'll make a mistake, and one of those will get in the stack. So there was the new devotional. There was one where everything in there was upside down. It was completely upside down. So Andy walks into the green room. I said, "Come here, man. Have you seen this?"
Oh,
he said, "What?" And I mean, his face starts getting red. I said, "You ain't gonna believe this. The new devotional out front. This is what they look like." And he opened it up, and his face. Greg. He goes, "Oh snap!" That was what came out. "Oh snap!" And he said, please tell me you're messing with me." And then he looks over, and Les Bradford is actually filming it like that. And he said, "That's just that run-through copy they did." And he said, "I did pull it out of the stack. It wasn't there, but the rest of them are fine." He thought that entire
thing was upside down.
That those boxes and all that every one of them in there had the devotional upside down. And that was probably a little on the cruel side, but I was injured.
It made you feel better, didn't it?
Well, Rick, it matched the video screens that were out front with the merchandise when we got there. Remember they were trying to get it worked out?
Yeah,
they were upside down?
Yeah, they were upside down. And I said, "Look, guys, I know that may be a software trouble, but why don't we just take these and turn them the way around?"
Yeah, see, all of us wanted to say that, but I thought, well, I must not know something.
Right.
I say, so why don't you just turn them the other way?
Yeah.
Which,
yeah.
It's kind of a hassle, but it eventually happened.
But we did. Yeah. We did. Now, I'd like to see Varvatos and Bones get them a little straighter, but I mean,
it's hard to get them back straight.
It was to get them back straight, but it went great. But I just want to say thank you to the entire team. Incredible job. Sanford, thank you. Your staff at the Wright Center, outstanding job. It was so inspiring to talk to you guys. It came from all over. I thought Wingo, I thought Andy, I thought Robbie. I've heard them in the past. I thought they were as good as they have ever been. The Holy Spirit was there. The worship was great, and watching and hearing these churches all over the country doing the strategy and the fruit from it, it felt great. Now, if you miss this, we've got Starkville coming up, and I think there may be a handful of tickets still left for Starkville. It's a much smaller room, and we want your feedback if you came, because we want feedback, the good, the bad, the ugly. We want to know what we did well. We want to know what we could do better. And Starkville is a room of only 1,000, so it's going to be real tight in there, but that'll be cool. So if you're wanting to go, Granger Smith, James Spann, Scott Dawson, Andy Blanks, and I will be speaking there. Chuck's doing worship there. Well, you need to get those, because I'm sure they'll all be gone by the time we get to March 8th and 9th. So if you want those, go to themanchurch.com. In Starkville, we look forward to seeing you. And when I say Starkville, you plus all these different men coming from all these different states. And our location will just be Starkville. So thank you all who came out. It was a wonderful, wonderful weekend. It was powerful, and I sure needed it as well. We'll be back. More Rick and Bubba coming up right after this.
Rick Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
My disciples. And he said, teach them all that I have commanded. How many of you believe you can teach all that Jesus commanded if you don't know what he commanded? That's impossible. What would Jesus do? Well, good luck if you don't know what he did. So what we're trying to do is to say we're not just going to sit here and challenge you. We need to be challenged.
Into my mind
How about that?
the term "I just want to be mad," and so I've said this is what this looks like. The Democrats look like a bunch of children that are spoiled, and nobody will let them have their way. And no matter how many times you show them that what they're saying is not true, it can't be done, and there's even precedent in their own party of them agreeing with what the Republicans are saying now, none of that matters because this mean man makes us mad, and we just want to be mad. That's really it in a nutshell.
It is a political disagreement. And it's, I think history will show it is just a very partisan proceeding, the whole thing. The way that the charges were brought up in the House was partisan. The way it's going to be voted and acquitted is partisan, and it's just a reflection of the country, really, to be honest with you.
It is. And can I tell you where the Democrats really look foolish? It's like they'll say, and so I think some of it has some legitimacy. Well, this president just talks to you like you're out on a playground at school. Well, yeah, but you respond to him like somebody does on the playground at the school too. Somebody calls you baby, and you go, "Shut up," and then you start throwing punches because they got to you. And as I used to do, Greg, the Democrats are Greg when he was little. And what I would do when I poked at him and he got angry, I'd just keep on poking, and he would just completely lose it. And that's what Trump is doing to the Democrats, and they're falling for it.
It's working.
They're falling for it. Hey, shut up, baby. What? What'd you say? Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Yeah! And then they just lose their mind.
Did you see his rally?
Quit hitting yourself, baby.
Did you see his rally in Iowa last night?
Oh, yeah.
Massive crowd.
Oh, yeah,
massive
sure,
crowd.
Sure. But they've just become, the left has just become, they've lost. They're so angry and they're so maniacal and they're being so honest if you'll pay attention that like somebody needs to run in and go, guys, everybody hears y'all.
Yeah.
You remember all this stuff we used to say in secret? Y'all are saying it out loud. You're scaring people into going over to Trump and say, well, I tell you who we can't have is this party in control. Guys, remember, they know we're socialists now.
Yep.
Shh, be quiet. So it's at least there's been some clarity on it.
Yeah.
But it's hard to watch because when people just dig in and there's nothing you can say to them, even if you bring them the answer they want.
It's all about the numbers, baby.
They just won't hear it. I mean, they come up and say, well, I'll tell you what I think is going on. Now, look right here. We just noticed that didn't happen. Well, yeah, it did. And now we showed you what happened. You wanted to know what happened. Here it is. No, that's not what happened. No, it's right there.
Lamar Alexander really had some good things he put out on Twitter about the whole process.
Well, see, when you hear from these people that don't really look like they're just dug in, and they give you kind of a common sense, level-headed, the case was made and this president really can't be impeached. Can we move on? Dershowitz basically said the same thing. Just the case isn't here. We'll be back.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
All right, so some other updates that we have, Bubba. The State Department has raised the China travel advisory to the do not travel because of the coronavirus. So,
didn't need somebody in Washington to give me that update. I think I was out on that.
Yeah, thank you for giving us the official word.
There goes that trip I was with.
But we,
Dadgum, Wuhan is going to have to wait.
I know, and that's a family tradition. Wuhan for the summer.
Yeah, everybody loves Wuhan.
So you haven't seen Wuhan.
What happens in
spring.
Wuhan stays in Wuhan.
Right.
Yeah,
we should stay there.
I guess that's a thumbs down on my batter snake soup.
Yeah.
I look forward to that every year. So the do not travel from the State Department, and they do say that there has been a person-to-person transmission of the coronavirus reported in the United States, according to the CDC. So now we've got it came in, and we've got that it's been passed on to someone else. Go ahead.
Well, that's what viruses do, Rick.
They do. They're very good. They're very good. And England's reporting today they got one.
Yeah.
So So we'll see.
And
let me ask you this, and somebody had brought this up yesterday. Do all of these flus come out of the Asian area? Hadn't the swine flu, didn't it come from,
I don't know,
the Pacific Rim over there somewhere?
9 minutes to the top of the hour, the Rick and Bubba Show. Thanks for being with us. 866 We Be Big. All right, so finishing up weekend stories as far as the conference was concerned. And Greg, two things you and Adler, I forgot about you and I get locked backstage. I mean, got locked back there, couldn't leave. We got locked. I mean, we were trapped in the right
Everyone
center.
else was gone.
Greg had that long ride out of it too.
And we go in the door, and we've been going in and out all night. Same door. But this time when it closed behind us, you couldn't get out. So we actually stumbled across somebody else who was wandering around backstage. It was also locked in. And we had to get somebody to come up and open it from the outside.
So how many doors did y'all try? Was there more than one?
We tried about 3.
We kept thinking this can't be real. The next door we'll be able to get out.
Well, we've been going in and out of this door all night.
So I guess what happened, because it ended like at 10 on Friday night. So by the time we all start grabbing our stuff, because I went out to the lobby for a minute, then came back to get my stuff. I guess the staff now that, because it did have a code on it, now the access to backstage, you can still get in, but once you get in there, there's no getting out.
Mm-hmm.
And then and so Greg and I were trapped. It was like Spinal Tap. And then
we kept walking down halls here. Maybe this will lead out. Yeah. Oh, that one's locked too. We walk back through there. We're back there with all the props and all that stuff. Can
I tell you the saddest part? Greg referenced Spinal Tap, and the young guy didn't know what he was talking about.
The young guy.
The other guy had to hurt. The other guy trapped didn't know what Spinal Tap was.
That was hilarious. We were wandering around, all of a sudden we heard a guy go, "Hey!" And we looked, and he was like, "I can't get out.
Can y'all help us?" I said, "We're all back here. It's like Gilligan."
What would y'all have done if you hadn't contacted Les?
Well, I told Greg, I said the good news is the conference is tomorrow. I mean, I got to be here at 6:30. I think I'm just going to lay down.
Yeah, find a comfortable room.
And so Adler, first of all, he has a picture. Now look at these screens. You think this didn't drive everybody crazy? So we go out there. We got this massive setup, and then you look, and the screens actually are upside down. Look.
The ones right there.
The TVs or the screen?
The TVs. The TVs upside down.
Oh, right here.
You got all that high-tech stuff, and you know what it's giving us? Upside down.
Oh, my goodness. That's not what you want.
So they tried to do some software thing, and then Greg and I, being from Calhoun County, we said, why don't you just turn TVs upside down? Why don't you just flip them? You may have them upside down. So that worked. And Adler, you came on Saturday? I didn't know this.
I did. I was actually planning on coming Friday and
Saturday.
Some
drums.
But we found out on Thursday. In fact, during the show, we're like doing a bit, laughing around, and I saw a text from Aaron, and I'm like, "That's weird. It's 7:15. That's not good." And we found out that Ezra is allergic to penicillin on Thursday.
Oh no!
So
what?
He wakes up and he looks like a Dalmatian, y'all. He's covered in red spots, and I'm like, wow. So that our days have changed now. So
and you have to check on the thing. Are you allergic to anything? You now become those people that say yes. We can't have penicillin.
Yes.
You don't want to be allergic to one of the great antibiotics.
Was it penicillin or was it one of these new antibiotics?
It's from what I understand, it's the penicillin in the amoxicillin.
Yeah, they're in the same family.
Yeah.
So
I'm allergic to one of them, one of the newer ones. Avalox, I think's the name of it.
Huh.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Turn into a lobster.
I did not.
But that's the only one that bothers me.
I mean, he is he's spotted from head to toe, just a Dalmatian everywhere. So that changed our lives.
That's never good.
Thursday and Friday, but I was like, I got to see this. I want to see the room. I want to see what's happening with this Man Church conference. And so on Saturday, I actually took Ezra and Ruby to the Man Church conference on Saturday morning. Yes, I did. You told me that you were going to be speaking at 11, and I was like, awesome. I'm going to catch, and I was just wanting to check it out. But I was like, all right, that means there'll be some music right before, 10:30 to 11 there'll be music, and then Rick will speak. So I rolled up about 10:35 to go to see hopefully some music for the kids, and see some of you. I guess y'all are ahead of schedule.
We were.
I
love to be ahead of schedule. Yeah.
I'm like, it's a man conference. They'll be behind schedule.
No, not ours.
And I got there and you were on stage already. I was like, all right, well, that's fine.
Look, if you go to anything that has us tied to it that we ain't never been nowhere to, or we never had one of those that start on time. We believe you got to start on time and let's end on time.
That's right. So I got there. I'm like, all right, well, that's okay. I ran into Andy in the lobby. Andy Blank's secondhand embarrassment king.
Yes.
And
core temperature rising.
I saw it. I saw his secondhand embarrassment firsthand because he looks at Ruby and he's like, "Hey, Ruby, how's it going?" And then he looks at Ezra and he's like, and
You forgot the name.
I'm so used to seeing Ezra all spotted up because it's been 4 or 5 days now. I forget to explain he's allergic to penicillin.
He's a little speckled.
He doesn't have like leprosy or something like
you brought
that.
a diseased kid.
Yes, I mean,
Wow,
and
that's
he's
a
got it on
weird-looking
his
kid.
cheeks and face, and it's covering his eye like a
Did Andy
Dalmatian.
melt? Did he
Andy
melt
was
standing
like,
there?
Do you acknowledge
What's-
it? Do you not?
And he just went straight back to Ruby. He's like, "What's she doing here?" And I didn't think about it at the time. And then later I was like, "Oh, he was shocked by the splotches all over my child's face.
Oh, yeah.
I should have given him a heads up. He's fine."
He didn't know whether to bring it up or not.
So he didn't even address.
Hey, little man! Wow.
Whoa, hey,
Oh, speckled baby.
So yeah, that was funny. I now have both kids in my arms, and I'm gonna go up one level so that I'm not, being a distraction. I wanted to just sit in the back. I'm carrying them up one flight of stairs. I'm like, this is fine. And I go up the flight and I open the door. I'm like, oh no, I'm still kind of in the way. I need to go up one more level.
Yeah, it's hard to find your way in that place.
It is.
Sometimes in these big auditoriums, one floor is not just one flight of stairs.
No.
So I start going up the stairs carrying 2 kids in my arms.
One speckled.
And I realize I have one speckled. I got 4 flights of stairs to go up before I'm going to be able to get to a door that I can go into.
Wow. Adler, surely you could have found a seat for.
Why are you breathing hard,
I
Danny?
didn't know, and I'm already on the journey, so I didn't know. So I get to the top, and I'm just so sweaty, and like you could probably see steam coming off of me, sweat's coming down my head. But I wanted to come check it out. So we actually got in the room, and I took a quick video of this, and it was so cool and so great just to be in a room filled with godly men hearing God's word. Here's a quick clip from Rick that night.
He said, go make disciples. And he said, teach them all that I have commanded. How many of you believe you can teach all that Jesus commanded if you don't know what he commanded? That's impossible.
Well,
What would Jesus do? Well, good luck if you don't know what he did.
And I just loved the amen. That right.
Was that you breathing hard on there?
I think that was me breathing hard.
You got pretty high.
Yeah, were you on top of the building?
You were way up
I
there.
had to go up 4 flights. I was like, my goodness. But Rick, your line talking about tattoos, you go, there's nothing wrong with tattoos, but I hope that is carved into your heart, not just written on your skin. And the whole room was just like, amen. I was just like, yes. And then 4 minutes had gone by, so my kids were done with it, so I had to leave. But it was great, man. It was awesome.
Thank you, man. Top of the hour. We'll be right back.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
And all that. Why is that the launching pad for all these flus?
Well, I'll tell you, if this one turns out to be what some of the hypotheses are, one of the reasons this would come out of there is they were trying to weaponize a virus.
Oh, well, yeah.
Now, we don't know that's what happened, but
that's one theory out there.
Yeah, that's a theory, and it may not be correct. Let me be clear.
There's again, this is what they want us to know. That y'all have a story too of how did it get started, and they're sticking with this
snake soup.
Yeah, this seafood.
Well, there was a girl eating a bat on one of them, and one eating a rat.
Weird things.
Yeah, they say that it originated at a seafood market in Wuhan where wild animals, including birds, rabbits, bats, and snakes, are traded.
Hello.
See that?
Who thought that would have ended up bad?
That's just odd, isn't it? But again, how come? I mean, you never hear of a virus attacking the world, the Texas virus.
No.
Have you noticed that?
No.
So what is the deal with that?
I don't know, because they said snakes at first, and now there's been suggestions that came from bats.
Who's the guy laying over on the sidewalk?
Snakes, same thing.
We're showing a picture right now. Why is this person laying on his back on the sidewalk with a mask on?
It's an older gentleman.
He may have passed out.
Sorry, it's an older gentleman that has seemed to have fallen ill from the Wuhan virus.
Wow.
So
laying in the streets.
I'm not trying to tell him what to do, but it appears the mask was a little late there.
Well,
the mask is not needed.
If you believe that nurse that got that message out, she said there's 100,000, and if the way it's gaining ground every day, it's probably almost doubled. or will in the next week.
Yeah, I don't know whether her 90,000 number was accurate or if that was fake, but yeah, that's a big number.
It's real big.
Yeah, that's your big one.
and growing.
Yeah. So we'll see.
But why is that? I mean, have y'all thought about?
Well,
that?
first of all, is
the
that
swine
true?
flu,
First of all, is
the
that
avian flu,
did all those
the
come
Hong
from?
Kong flu? Remember,
Yeah,
I mean,
we
is
know that
all
one
of that
came. It
coming
got a
out
name.
of the Asian region here? What's the deal with that?
I really don't know. Is it just because a lot of folks?
I don't know.
It's a bunch of folks.
I don't know. Or is something going on culturally there, or are we careless with our viruses? What's happening there?
Well, probably I would think in a communist country where things are done a lot differently. There may not be the commitment. We get upset sometimes with, you don't hear the term USDA approved much.
Right.
And we got open markets and there's dead animals laying everywhere. And,
there was one guy I saw yesterday that said that communist China is going to kill us all before it's over, just because of their their lack of precautions on a lot of stuff.
There doesn't seem to be an over concern for the population.
Right. Well, they got plenty.
Yeah,
they got plenty of spares. That's for sure.
But when if you were to watch, and what was it called? Is it called One Child? That documentary, guys, I'm telling you, and look, do not go in there. It is not for the faint-hearted. It is a rough. What
was it on?
Documentary.
I had to cut it off.
It's on Netflix or all that. Yeah.
Netflix.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, it is a rough ride. But it shows you what it's like for there to be a complete tyrannical government, central government, that you do whatever they tell you to do. And the way they do the propaganda and get everybody sold on it and misinformation, and they even send people to your town to do like dances and stuff, singing songs about why the government is saving us from overpopulation by limiting you to one child, and it's just weird. And it just really, and then the things they would do is just, of course, now here we are in our country. I'm not sure we can wag our finger at anybody about the way we handle the unborn, but it was, hey. If you think you only got one shot, people will do. You don't get a mail the first time. The things that'll happen, it's just not good. Like I say, it's a bad. Do not go into that documentary if you're bothered by things easily, because it's bad news.
Yeah, it is.
It is a wild ride, but it's something worth figuring out. This is what happens when you let the government become a tyrannical, all loving, all caring for, all everything. Because then when they decide that whatever they want to do, you do it, or you pay a price for it.
Well, I'd like to see them start knocking some of these flus down before they get started.
Yeah. I don't know, but I think we've mentioned some of the possibilities.
Is it the cradle of influenza?
Yeah.
I mean, what is the deal?
Shane, welcome to Rick and Bubba. How you doing?
Doing good, fellas. Hey, let me ask you a question. They said alcohol takes care of this. So I think Greg's pretty free and clear with all them natties that
he's drinking. He's working on his immunity.
That's not right.
Hey, I was looking it up, and swine flu, it looks like, came from Mexico, but the bird flu did come from China.
So bird flu, we know Hong Kong flu came from at least the Asia.
Yeah, I'm just saying the Asian Pacific.
And the Chinese will still tell you that's there. So so swine flu was Mexico.
I was looking up some facts here. They say 2 of the 3 pandemics that kill more people than anywhere else started in Asia.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some stories about it. I'm gonna have to read on that, because somebody asked me the other day. I really hadn't thought about it. I said,
Yeah, this is one of those. This is one of those things where I'm certainly concerned, but I just don't know what to do about it. Other than just kind of do the best you can do. And I still can't get clarification about, is this any more dangerous than all the other flus that can kill people? I mean, because flu takes out a lot of people every year.
I know there's a lot of people in China too. I mean, it's
always a ton. That's a big number.
The population of China alone is bigger than that of all of Africa. But they say 80% of new human flu strains in the last few decades started in China.
Look.
Let's go phone calls. A brand new hour starting now. 866 We Be Big. Greg is standing by. He'll take your phone calls on any topic you want to talk about. And we'll chat with you, America, coming off the weekend. We've covered quite a bit, but there's more to cover. But let's hear from you right now as we transition into the rest of the live show today. All 10 lines available. You should be able to get here without any issue. Rick and Bubba Buffalo Wild Wings charity charge today, benefiting Operation Healing Forces, taking care of those who take care of us, those in special forces. The job they do, it really, really takes a toll on their lives, and they specialize in what it makes up a small percentage of our military, but they have the highest rates of suicide and PTSD, and this organization tries to give them the healing that they need. So you can help that by going to eat at Buffalo Wild Wings locations in Alabama today: Alabaster, Birmingham, Gardendale, Tuscaloosa, Hoover, downtown Birmingham, Trussville, Pell City, Oxford, Chelsea. And then we've got the Buffalo Wild Wings to go in Vestavia Hills, where the old studio used to be on Highway 31, and also in Northport. All of those are participating today, so go out and enjoy that. And like I say, some of you may be able to watch the Daytona 500. Because it is running today because it was rained out yesterday. And then also Rick and Bubba University, the podcast, David Pollock, our guest, getting great feedback on that from the weekend too. So 866-WE-BE-BIG. We'll get to your phone calls when Greg gets those lined up and ready to go. So I know there is one more story that we want to cover from the weekend that did not happen to us, but we've talked a lot about Buc-ee's. I know, Helmsy, you're a regular stop by on Buc-ee's.
Yeah, I was there yesterday.
Yesterday doing your Buc-ee's run. It looks like that Buc-ee's and comfort animals have collided. This comfort animal thing, and we don't mean to be insensitive to those of you that this is helpful to you, but there, just as we don't need to be insensitive to you, I think there has to be some responsibility taken by the comfort animal owners, that you can't just take animals. Let's just leave it there. Let's leave the word comfort out. You just can't take animals into just anywhere because you also need to be sensitive to other people, just as you want people to be sensitive to you. Their experience is as important as yours, and surely we can take a few moments not to take our comfort duck.
That's
into Buc-ee's. All right, so what is this video here?
The story tells us, Rick, that an emotional support duck and its owner recently ran afoul of store management at Buc-ee's stores, and he's been banned now.
Yeah, it's a lengthy video, but Adler has queued it up to where it might make sense for you.
All right, here we go.
Audio.
I think it's where he's hearing it, but he doesn't know we're not.
Hold on.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I was trying to talk here. I keep hitting play, but it keeps muting it. I don't know why it's muting it.
Okay.
Y'all see that?
You have to be able to contain it, and it can fly out. And birds, the animals just can't handle it. There's no respect. They're all on. Yeah, if you had it on a contained.
She is contained. Look at that. She's laying down and everything. Look at her. She's laying here.
Yeah.
She's not going to fly away, and I could even do.
She said, "I just can't have that in here."
Yeah, I can't have a duck in Buc-ee's. It is interesting that a store with a literal animal on their logo, is
right. But so a baby stroller, pretty nice one.
Yeah.
It had a pretty nice little bed in there.
Yeah, I will say I'm not defending the duck in Buc-ee's, but I will say the guy seemed to have the duck contained.
I'd rather see that than a dog walking around on a leash.
I have to agree with that.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
But
now it's out. Now it's out.
Well, now it's out. Okay, now it's a different ball.
So,
once he got kicked out, he was like, "Well, I'll just walk out now." And then here's the police officer.
Oh, the law's out there. Okay.
Do you have a real?
I know.
He gave the cop the Goose's ID.
A lot of gas stations.
The things they have to confront.
It's not my decision and everything. It's theirs and everything. It just says that you're banned from all Buc-ee's property and everything.
Every single Buc-ee's?
Yes, sir. So if you're caught on property and everything, you'll be charged with trespassing.
So they Buc-ee's just had enough of the duck.
Yeah.
And no luck, duck.
Quacking around.
So anyway, look, the comfort animal thing. I know there are people that truly need them. This cat did not come across as anything other than somebody who just tries to be sharp.
If you're required to have a comfort animal and it can't be a dog, what do you go with?
Oh my goodness! Probably if it can't be a
dog
or cat.
Well, no.
Outside the big two?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm probably something you'd normally have as a pet.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go with a monkey of some sort.
Okay.
Because of all it can bring to the table. Now, I'm going to be sure it's one that that can't take me.
Sure.
You know, and
it's gonna be a little smart
yeah,
decision.
it's going to be a little, probably a monkey, because let's get the most out of it.
Speedy?
Probably a bird of some kind.
Like a hawk?
Yeah, it's going to sit on my shoulder.
Okay.
That's going
So
to
not a parrot,
like
a hawk.
No,
Like
I'm
you
talking
want
about
a
like a
bird of prey.
Bird of prey.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a pirate.
Like
That's going to be an issue at Buc-ee's.
Yeah, like the albino. Was it the falcon? What was it?
Lucent.
Okay.
Bubba?
You know, I've never really thought about it that much.
I didn't either until just now.
I hadn't either.
Yeah, I've never really thought about that because I love animals too, but I don't want to carry them out everywhere. And if I need that much support, maybe I need to, look at my schedule.
Yeah.
But, I may go with squirrel.
Not bad.
Okay.
That's not bad.
It's not a bad
Some
Fluffy
people
tail.
think that's nuts, but I think that's a great idea.
Just sit on your shoulder.
Right.
Yeah, a little fluffy tail.
No.
Adler?
You said there's no cats, but before you said that,
No cats.
I was gonna go with a hairless cat.
No.
So then you don't have to worry about hair on you and
No.
getting on your
Can't
clothes.
say
No.
And they're also
He
potty
just looks
trained.
diseased.
They're potty trained, so
Can't
like
say
the
it.
mane.
It's outside the big.
and then I was gonna go with maybe like a hairless mouse then, but then that mouse is gonna be pooping all over you and stuff. So it's a tough choice, guys.
The reason I was going with like a small monkey that couldn't take me, that posable thumb, even though it can be dangerous, if I want to be comforted, I can literally picture my little monkey on my shoulder, and on the back of my head, he keeps doing this.
Oh, that would be
He's
nice.
like stroking my hair.
Okay.
He's like, "You're okay, buddy. You're all right."
I saw somebody. I don't know if it was on a reel or something that had trained. I think it was a monkey, and it was helping to take care of the other pets.
Yes.
It would carry them food. and
Oh,
stuff. Yeah.
there you go.
I go, if you put them to work. That's not
Yeah, I
bad.
could train it to help me be a pickpocket too.
Right.
Be like, yo, steal that old lady's wallet.
Buddy, there you are back
Still
to
trying to
stealing.
stealing stuff
that'd
again.
be great.
Huh?
That'd be good.
I kind of like the idea of he's got a cute pair of overalls on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a diaper.
Yeah. Well,
That's a given.
that's a given.
Greg said a donkey for him.
Oh, it'd be perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Birds of a
Maybe
feather.
would a miniature horse or something work?
Some people do that.
Okay.
Some people
All
do
right,
that.
that might
About
be
20
it.
pounds.
Yeah.
Boy, you better bring something to. It better be potty trained.
You have to put a diaper on him too.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a big diaper.
If we have something that's going to be super perfect, no problems at all, I might as well go big, like a gorilla or a dinosaur or something.
A dinosaur.
If it's going to be trained well.
Dinosaur.
A juvenile, of course.
Yeah, sure.
Your phone calls are next. You're lined up. Greg's still lining them up. And we'll chat with you when we come back. So, the guy with the comfort duck or therapy duck has been banned from all Buc-ee's. You realize how far you have to go to be banned from Buc-ee's?
Yeah, I've seen a lot in Buc-ee's.
We'll take your phone calls next. Lines are available. 866-WE-BE-BIG. More Rick and Bubba coming up right after this.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
Check. Hey, what's up, tubers? Thanks for watching Rick and Bubba on YouTube. This is a flashback back to 2020. COVID is just coming down the pike, coming down the pike. I don't know what the correct way to say that is, but yeah, that's what we're flashing back to. I'm showing this so that we can be reminded and never let this happen again, where they shut down society and control us and take away our freedom and use fear to divide us, all that. So that's why we're doing this, not to just relive it and go through the pain again. We're doing it so that we can remember and never let it happen again. So thanks so much for watching Rick and Bubba on YouTube. And I will be skipping, if there's like an extended interview with a doctor or somebody that has limited information at that time, I'll be skipping through those. But the whole point of this is to watch out and see how it went down and remember and never let it happen again. Okay, I'm going to shut up. All right, thanks for watching Rick and Bubba on YouTube.
Right there. India's the only one that's holding their own with them.
Mm-hmm.
China is 18.5% of the world population compared to the other countries.
Unbelievable.
And then India runs in there really close at a 17.9.
Yeah, India's packing it on too.
We're only 4.3.
Yeah, we're tiny. Just think about all the people here. you see at ball games in New York City, and we're on that little tiny sliver. Good night.
You know how Adler is with these Chinese cities.
I know.
He's coming in with facts, and he said you have no idea how many big cities they have. When you think of China, if you haven't traveled there, you don't think of just huge metropolitan cities. He said they're everywhere.
Yeah. You think Beijing and Shanghai, and then nothing after that.
Right.
But they're about
everywhere.
15 to 20 that are 8-9 million folks a pop, which Wuhan's one of those.
Yeah. All right, so to me, there's certain things, Bubba, that need to be protected, and one of those things is the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl. Let me just let everybody know something. The Super Bowl is one of those days where if you're trying to do better, it's not the day. Okay, you just go on the Super Bowl. This is a day that I'm going to, eat what I want to eat. I'm going to enjoy the game. I'm going to just my day is going to. I'm going to go out, and hopefully you'll be at a church somewhere. You're going to have your day of worship. You get home, you get the TVs on, and you're all into pregame coverage and stories. Nothing better than all the Super Bowl coverage throughout the day, and you get that feel and that environment in your house. And really, the format that we all prefer is, and it's an American icon, and that is the graze format.
Oh, yeah.
We have various plates with various types of snacks and goodies and stuff on it, and you just kind of graze around. There may not even be a time you ever really sit down with a plate that looks like a dinner or a lunch.
Yeah.
You're just grazing around. Hey, I'm going to get a little dip over here, and look at me over here. I'm picking up a few little wings over here, and what is this? Oh, some little sandwich something, and here's a handful of Chex Mix. I'm going to throw this on there. Well, that's what it's supposed to be, and it's just one of those days where you say this is not a healthy eating day. Period. But now people are trying to give us suggestions on how to have healthy Super Bowl snacks. Those words should never be together.
No.
I mean,
how everybody has this moving window. People, when you're on a diet, today's my free day. It depends
cheat
on
day.
My cheat day.
And it never fails. Fat people have more cheat days than they do days they're committed to it.
Well, let's say everyone can have one on Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's just
that
standard.
one. Yeah, you don't matter what situation you're in. Super Bowl Sunday is a cheat day for.
Now, if you've
for
already
anyone.
had 3 this week,
right,
that makes it tough.
Well, how about it means you got 4. Nobody can take the Super Bowl cheat day from you. I don't care what your week's been like. They can't take that one from you.
I'm afraid it has to be isolated. It really does.
Well, here's some Nimrod trying to tell us how to eat better on the Super Bowl, and I understand. Their only problem is that this is no fun. What you're suggesting.
Yeah,
you're trying to take a fun zone. And
who wants to
puncture it.
ruin the Super Bowl?
Yeah, guys, there's a lot of times I sit down now trying to do better, and I'm eating, and people come in and they go, well, hey, how about that? Well, you know what I go? It's adequate. I mean, what I ate right now was because I ate it because it was healthy. It wasn't
filled
bad.
me up.
Hey, it wasn't bad. It did its job. Now, is this something that I'm going to, when somebody walks in the room and says, guess what I have, am I going to do a fist pump? No.
Right.
No, of course not. But they're saying things like, Bubba, they want to take our dips. Who loves a little hamburger dip?
Yeah. Little slider.
They want you to take all the dairy products out of it.
What?
Yeah.
Then it's no longer dip.
They basically.
Rick and Bubba's in Ohio. Rick and Bubba. Pass the gravy, please. Rick and Bubba. Ooh, it brings me to my knees.
Here we go. Phone calls. 866 We Be Big. Looks like we got maybe 2 lines available, but there are some. You can get in, and as we start taking phone calls, we'll open up some others. Bubba, we talked about the truckers and their response to the Trump ruling over the weekend. Mike's in New Jersey. Mike, welcome to Rick and Bubba. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
We're good, man.
Hey, how that works is companies call into a broker service and say, hey, I got a load here. I need it taken out of here and delivered someplace. Then a trucker calls into brokers, and they give them a list of whatever kind of loads they got going here, going there, going out this way. So what will happen is if the truck driver doesn't want to go into New York City, he just won't pick that load.
Okay.
And that's how they refuse to go in there. And hey guys, I've been listening to you about 10 years. Whatever. Good luck in your new endeavors or your retirement or whatever. And I'm gonna retire myself in August. It's a little scary, but I'm going to bail out too. So I just kind of hope everything works out for you guys.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Very
kind, and thank you for supporting the show. So it was kind of like we were talking about. They can just go, yeah, I'm not going to get that one.
Right.
And I wonder how much impact. Probably a lot, I would think.
Well, if you get a bunch of people doing
Right,
it, it
yeah.
would obviously.
It was
But if
another
you-
state that they did. They in the past they
did some kind
this
of
with, and
trucker
it made a big
protest.
deal.
Yeah.
Made a big deal.
The one in Canada is the only one I remember.
That's right.
But I'm sure there's
That was
been
more
others.
COVID though. This was something else.
Robert in South Carolina. Robert, go ahead.
Good morning, Rick and Bubba. How are you?
Good, Robert. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. This emotional support animal thing.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, my first question is, where were these people?
Yeah, I know.
All we saw growing up were, at the most, you had the CNI dogs or guide dogs. You didn't see people rolling dogs around or ducks, for that matter.
No. Yeah,
in a store, you just didn't see that.
Yeah, we made the comment before, Robert, and I've heard all the guys in here unpack it, and I agree. You know, we made some moves involving children under the guise of thinking that we were somehow evolving when it comes to letting them experience defeat, experience discipline, experience repercussions, that somehow we were being mean. And I do think that it did produce a generation of adults that can't cope. You know, there was this is all like you said, Robert. This is new stuff, and there's a lot of new stuff. And then some people, I think, truly do need the help. And then there's people that, for some reason, this has become trendy. I see something. It's kind of like Greg talked about with Munchausen, and I want to be a person who needs a comfort animal, whether I do or I don't, because it brings attention.
We've
to it.
glamorized being a victim.
Yeah, you're right. Let's go to Cody Birmingham, ZZK. Cody.
Green Acres.
Thanks for the call, Cody. Go.
How y'all doing this morning, fellas?
Good. We're great. Good.
We're great.
So, to the trucker thing, when I describe the significance of truckers, I've been a trucker for 7 years now. The significance of truckers in this country, the way I describe it is, if you think of the interstates and any and all roads, for that matter, as the arteries and the veins of this country, then we are the blood. Without us, this country does not function in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
You're right.
I don't care what you look at, what you touch, if you see it, if you are able, unless it's nature, we've had a hand in it. We have hauled it to somewhere for you to experience whatever that is.
Yeah.
And as far as the owner-operators, they can do whatever they want to, whenever they want to. It's their truck, sometimes their trailer. If they work for a company to get loads, they can just say, I don't want that load. Now, what gets tricky is the company drivers. Now, a company driver, if they are lucky enough to work for a company that does not have what's called forced dispatch, which is where forced dispatch is where you take whatever load they give you, point blank period. If you don't haul that load, you don't have a job anymore. But if they don't have forced dispatch, then they can say, no, I'm not taking that load to New York. But I will say this, truckers are in high demand. We're already short in this country. If I remember correctly, the last statistics was somewhere around short of 1 million truckers, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's not hard for a truck driver that is a company driver to go to another company who's not going to force them to go to New York.
Right.
So it's not like we're hurting out here for jobs.
Yeah. Well, now, what's the number for if you want to be a truck driver? I'm going to get that down.
Right. It's
1-800-TRUCK-MAX.
How's my driving? Let's go to Bubba. I didn't mean to bring up monkeys as a comfort animal. It's caused trauma with listener Cassie. Cassie, that's on me. I didn't mean to bring up monkey trauma. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, y'all been talking about monkeys a lot lately, just so you know. And it comes to me, you know, I remember it. So I'm going to need y'all to ease up on the monkey talk. And, Rick, you don't want a monkey on your back. You saw it in real life.
or on your head.
Yeah, you're right, Cassie. I don't know what I was thinking.
They start on your back and they move up to your head, and then y'all all saw what happened. So
yeah, we did.
You know, I lived it. But
Cassie,
Y'all saw it.
I will tell you, you're one of the little bookmarks that I will always remember in the 31 years of the show.
Oh my gosh!
When we were in Gulf Shores, Alabama, and you had a monkey climb on top of your head.
Yeah, a monkey got loose from the Gulf Shore Zoo, and it went after Cassie, and it took a liking to brunettes, and the rest, as they say, is horrifying history for you, but hilarity for us.
The speed was still
so just
amazing.
ease up on the monkey talk, and I'll be happy. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I mean, like a Singer sewing machine. I could not believe it.
Never
The
seen
speed.
anything like that.
Wow.
Never have since.
No.
I don't know that I'll be fortunate enough to see anything like that again. Don't know if I want to.
Cassie, I will remember you the rest of my life.
Sure.
Really.
Well, and so will the monkey. Let me say this, okay? Let me say this. There was moments throughout the 31 years where I've laughed hard.
Yeah.
Okay. That may be. I don't.
I was hurting.
It was
I was
as
hurting.
hard as I've ever laughed uncontrollably, and could not do anything with myself. And it's also one of those moments where we lost complete control of the show.
We did.
We had no control over the show. The show the show started doing itself, and we were unable to even participate. I mean, the monkey was running across the mixing board.
Everywhere.
The monkey was drinking out of people's drinks, and then
amazing how they can use a straw.
it is.
Yeah.
And then when he saw Cassie,
Oh boy, they bonded. That's for sure.
golly.
Must have been her shampoo.
I remember.
I didn't know anything to do other than to hand her a napkin.
There's a couple of times that I have been out of breath from laughing or crying. So laughing so hard I was crying.
Yeah.
On that one, I remember it hurting because I couldn't get my breath. It wasn't crying like I did with laughing with dancing traveling Todd. You know what I mean? I'm still shook up thinking about it.
Traveling Todd was
Traveling
dancing.
Todd. He was dancing
Yeah.
when he fell down, and
That's
I
right.
got tickled.
He was.
Or out of breath because Helium Boy was in the wrong place.
Right.
But
Wow.
I remember
all those are on that list.
All of them were kind of different pains for me, but
Right.
I remember that one hurting,
that was bad.
physically from laughing.
Well, and like I said, don't you agree, Bubba? This was one that I didn't think I could get it back.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like,
Yeah.
I may never stop laughing. I mean, it was one of those things, and everybody just wanted us to do something. But I mean, we didn't.
Yeah, what can you do?
Right.
There's nothing you can do.
Cassie was a great sport.
She
too.
was.
Bless
You know
her
what?
heart.
Let me tell you, on the top 10 list of, if they have a top 10 list of greatest sports of all time, meaning people who are a good sport about a bad situation, let me tell you, if you think seeing John Morgan's act was troubling, you should have seen that.
She came to the studio a few times and had a stuffed monkey with her.
She did. See, that's a good sport.
See, that's
That's somebody
that owned me, by the
That's
way.
somebody that that rolls with the punches.
That's it.
Right there.
You
In
got
this
to.
case,
You got to roll.
yeah. It was just.
I remember that. You're right. We lost everything for about, a minute?
Yeah. She said, "God love her." She wore her hair up for months.
Yeah. That's just had no idea.
No. We'll be back.
Is that happening? That's what I was in my mind.
Yeah. I thought, oh no. Well, he took those little hands.
Oh, grabbed that hair.
Yeah, he did. Like he was riding a horse.
He's strong. Strong little fella.
We'll be back, bottom of the hour. More Rick and Bubba right after this.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
Taking our dip and just dipping it in nothing but chopped up tomatoes and have none of the dairy part in there, because tomatoes have some good components to them.
Yeah. So cheese is out.
Yeah, I'm just dipping a chip in a bunch of diced tomatoes.
I'm not doing
Come
that.
on,
I
man.
don't like tomatoes.
Rick, I've actually tried to up my tomatoes on salads and some things to make, but it really does help out. I mean, they're more filling than some of that stuff.
I just don't like them.
I know, and if you don't, that's bad.
I've
but
tried
they're
them, don't
juicy. They add a lot to it.
But what about when the tomato? The tomatoes comes over your house on Super Bowl, and guess who's friend? Hey, look, I brought my friend Cheese Dip with me.
Right,
I'm gonna jump in this cheese, and I'm gonna be floating around in here. And you go, nah, leave him at home. You just come by yourself. Who wants that? Now everybody's like, guess who's coming? Tomato. Is he bringing dip with him? Nah, just tomato. What? What about queso? He's not coming. I mean, now the whole day's ruined. Oh, and this is the one that really infuriates me. You want to get me angry? The people who dip vegetables in the dip, not chips.
Oh,
don't get me started on that.
Give me a celery stick.
I think I'm going to dip with a carrot stick. Really, with you can't come to the Super Bowl. Okay,
You're not allowed.
We're going to dip with a carrot stick when we have a lunch and we want to have some hummus or something to get started, and we're trying to do better. We're not going to do this at the Super Bowl. How about? Let me tell you who's banned from the Super Bowl party. Carrots.
I'm going to go further than that,
Okay,
Rick.
carrots are banned.
I'm going further than that. I don't want a vegetable tray or a fruit tray.
No,
Neither
not at
one
the
of
Super
them.
Bowl.
I can tolerate broccoli.
But not
Not
at
at
the
the
Super Bowl. Not at the Super Bowl.
He's not
I
allowed.
can.
He's not
Yeah, but you-
allowed.
but
He
you
would
know
he clearly would
carrots.
pull
I'm
for the
with you,
Chiefs.
carrots.
But
But what I'm saying is, Bubba, I understand your thing with broccoli, and I know you think that somehow broccoli is going to save the world, but
Well, no, it's just I needed a landing spot
Right.
in the vegetable world, and I don't have much I can
know.
deal with, so I'm holding on to it.
But your friend
surprising.
broccoli is there for you when you're trying to do better. You're not trying to do better at the Super Bowl. He doesn't belong there.
But if you get a good steam one, it ain't too bad.
But not for the Super Bowl.
you know better.
Yeah, if you want to have that with your lunch, fine. But you don't want to bring it to the Super Bowl. You show up at somebody's house, say, "What have you got?" "I got steamed broccoli." You'll be run out of the house.
What if they're holding that? What if they're holding that stupid plate that has cauliflower,
No.
broccoli,
Oh, my
carrots,
God.
and it's in that big round thing?
No, I ban all that.
Just put it in the
Watch
car.
Bubba's face on this one. Just watch his face on this one. Replace your dairy-filled dips with a bean dip. Look at his face.
No, I don't do beans.
I don't do bean dips.
No.
No. Guys, bean dips. What am I? Am I at the Mexican restaurant that's close to my house?
The only one
No.
that I would
Well, then
even
I don't want it.
I
There's
would
that
even
plate I can't stand.
If somebody brings that to the Super Bowl, I literally would go out and I think I'd knife their tires. and I would take the vegetable plate and I'd just dump it out in the yard.
and just let it lay.
throw it like a frisbee.
How about this? Not only can you, and they said, "Well, now I thought you wanted to leave." No, I want you to stay here and can't go anywhere. You can't come in and you can't leave. I want you to suffer right here with your vegetables laying in our driveway. Did you just show up at the Super Bowl with a vegetable plate? Are you kidding me?
What if you looked at the plate and you just kicked it like you were punting it before they came in? Just kicked it out in the yard. Rick, the only bean dip that I think would even be close to being acceptable would be pork and beans.
The great
If it
pork
had
and
meat
bean.
in it. You could dip
Oh
it in
my
there.
gosh, they don't even want us to deep fry the wings.
Yep.
Come on, man.
Greg, are you all right?
Are they allowing wings?
They are, but they don't want us to deep fry them.
What are they when you do
And
that?
they don't want you to use a buttery sauce on them.
And no sauce on them.
Oh, well, I bet that'd be good.
They
Good
do,
and dry.
Rick, they got some kind of sauce
Some
here, but it's not
like a garlic powder and sea salt.
Yeah,
and onion powder on a bunch of baked wings. Guys, look,
I just really some of this just don't even have a party if that's what it's about.
Hey,
How about this? Call the game off.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, go out in the yard and eat with a rabbit somewhere.
guys,
You know,
guys,
Chew on
guys,
stalk.
guys, it's the Super Bowl. It's one day. Bubba, we have heard so many legends of Mickey Dean.
Yep.
People asking whatever happened to Mickey Dean, and I've heard all kinds.
We've had some misinformation apparently.
Yeah. Well, you know, let's finish the
We'll see.
conversation before we drop the hammer on that one. But Mickey Dean has called the show, and those of you that are new to the show, Mickey Dean has been on the show many times through the years. Comedian, friend, Mickey. Here we go. Thanks for being with us today. We'll get more phone calls coming up a little bit later on in the program. Hey, welcome to the Rick and Bubba Show, brand new sponsor. Another new show partner called zapmydebt.com. I like it. Let me tell you right now, debt can keep you tossing and turning at night. You can't get away from it. And here's the frustrating part. And any of us with debt knows this. The system is designed to trap you in debt. As the hole keeps getting deeper, insanely high interest rate credit cards, they're criminal. Loans, high, they make it nearly impossible to pay off the debt if you get in some of this high-interest stuff. So I want you to know about a new way out of that debt trap, and it's called ZAP, Z-A-P, zapmydebt.com. Now, this isn't like the old-school debt relief companies that string your debt over years. We're not talking about that. They have a new aggressive strategy that can end your debt faster and easier than you ever thought possible. I want you to think about that. Imagine getting that debt off of you and even eliminating the interest. Find programs to write off your balances so you owe less. Stop those threatening phone calls, and you can do it all without bankruptcy or a loan. In short, they find every solution possible to end your debt permanently. Let me say that again, permanently. Before you do anything else today, why don't you go and check zapmydebt.com and talk to them for free. Find out how fast they can help you get out of debt. You'll thank them for it, and you'll thank us for introducing you to them. zapmydebt.com, and there's always that link at rickandbubba.com under the sponsors button. All right, so, Bubba, we have our Biden clips today. I know, hey, sleep tight, America.
Yeah, we got you covered.
Sleep tight, America. Sleep tight. Everybody, somebody say.
Anybody know?
I say, Basement Joe. The Basement Joe.
You know, one thing the media, I think, has been derelict in their duty is they really don't question him about the amount of vacation time.
Never.
Takes.
No. Never.
You know, we've heard it with other presidents. Hey, you're playing golf, you're doing this, you're doing that. He has been on vacation about 40% of the time. And from people in Washington, I understand that is very accurate.
And from what you also have told me out of Washington, it's needed. Because if they don't give him that kind of time, he can't quite pull off even what he's pulling off. I mean, correct?
Yeah, and to that point, I saw a stat the other day that said at this point in their presidencies, Obama had done like 300 interviews, Trump had done like 300 interviews, and at this point in his presidency, Biden has done around 80.
Wow. Good Lord. All right, so here's Biden. He's going to start screaming about the House going into recess and how dare them take time off. Okay, well, this is a lot of grandstanding for a guy who's been off 40% of his presidency. Here we go.
No, but it's about time they step up, don't you think? Instead of going on a 2-week vacation. 2 weeks. They're walking away. 2 weeks. What are they thinking? My God, this is bizarre.
It is bizarre. You got that.
Yeah, but you hit that one out of the park there.
Yeah. Can we get that in instant replay, Speedy? That's a good one.
It's a good one. So, all right, let's look at 2C, you say, goes with this too. Here he is on vacation in Delaware. All right, so here we go.
The idea that we're going to walk away from Ukraine, the idea that we're going to let NATO begin to split is totally against the interests of the United States of America, and it is against our word we've given since all the way back to Eisenhower. So it's about time we make sure that Congress come home and pass the legislation funding NATO. It's critical.
Bubba, optics. He's telling Congress to go back home while he's on vacation in Delaware.
Yeah, and I don't understand. He's saying fund NATO. Ukraine is not in NATO.
There you go.
Israel's not in NATO. We don't fund NATO. We fund our own defense. That's part of being in NATO. Is you don't pay anybody. You just agree to spend so much on your own defense. So that, NATO is not a war machine. It is a security agreement.
Who do you think you are, Joy Behar?
I know.
We'll have to go to 4 since you've just talked about
let's
NATO.
go ahead and see that.
Yeah. So,
no idea.
Joy Behar on The View. Let me know when you have it out. You do it? Okay, here she is talking about NATO.
Because I know history, and Putin will not stop at Ukraine if we don't help them. Putin's getting paranoid, and Trump is saying that he's going to pull out of NATO. These are allies. We were all in this together in World War II, and now he's going to pull out of this. Outrageous.
Give me the buzzer, Rick. That is incorrect.
Yeah,
NATO did not exist until 1949. That was well after 1945 when World War II ended.
Yeah, the Allies, that was not NATO. Now, a
lot of them are in NATO now.
Right.
But NATO didn't exist. I mean, it wasn't.
She knows history, Bubba.
The North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
Bubba, she knows history.
And it was actually put together to stop Russian expansion. It had nothing to do with the Nazis, Joy.
Joy.
Since you know history,
I know
so well.
history.
Oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed for her. Speedy, are you embarrassed?
Oh,
for her?
yeah, of course.
Because I'm feeling. I don't really have
Sure.
secondhand.
Sometimes I have to look down like.
But
she's
now I
driving
feel it right now.
Yeah,
Core temperature rising.
What it is.
What if you had lunch today and they said, and you said, well, who am I having lunch with? It was some say we got to have lunch with Joy Behar. Can you imagine?
I'd skip lunch.
Yeah, I just got sick.
I suddenly don't feel well.
What if somebody said, if you'll have lunch with Joy Behar, I'll make my budget. I need you.
I mean, throw me a little on the side of the table.
No, we'd have to have a side
out of that budget.
arrangement.
Out of that budget.
Rick, there's no way Joy Behar is placing a big buy on the show.
Speedy, how much to just lay a big one right on her, just kiss her right on the mouth? How much? Go.
Am I married? Is it current?
No, you're just doing it for the money.
Oh, for the money.
Yeah. So you get a pass.
He gets passed.
Well, he's doing it for the money, Rick.
Just a kiss.
No, you're going. Yeah.
Now, does a NATO flag come with that?
That's important, Greg. What I'm asking you is very important.
Never mind. Just forget.
1,200.
I'm just making.
1,200.
1,200.
Just for a.
Picture it.
It don't mean nothing. It's all for the money.
Right.
I'm just making sure I understand what the question is. I'm just making sure I understand the question. How much money would it take to kiss Joy Behar is the question.
Yeah,
right?
that's the one Greg posted.
Okay, all right, just making sure. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, now let's go to, here's the president struggling to complete his remarks in East Palestine, Ohio. Here we go.
UK Administrator Reagan, as well.
Blowing his nose.
We just concluded a briefing.
Look at the mayor over his left shoulder when he does this.
As well. We just concluded a briefing.
Don't blow your nose while you're talking.
He waited over a year to go to this place, and he waited till it was the dead of winter. You know,
Rick, that takes me back to Howell Heflin at our hospital.
Oh my goodness!
He came to speak at our. He didn't just blow his. He blew a honker.
I'm telling you,
he made noise.
He pulled out a handkerchief and hunkered down
right into the microphone.
Right in the microphone. It was unbelievable.
Rick was on Student Council. He was on stage with him. He went.
Joe Biden now, Bubba. Here we go. Some of the brain freezes. Here comes a Mitch McConnell brain freeze. This time it'll be Joe Biden.
I might have the wrong clip. Hold on, sorry.
Yeah.
Give me
I'm growling. I'm growling.
Great legs. Do whatever the hell they want. I guess I should clear my mind here a little bit and not say what I'm really thinking.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
At one point, I thought he was going to fall forward and hit the mic with his forehead.
Don't laugh at that. Don't.
One more time.
Because he starts out. He starts out and then he goes in.
Right.
It's the first time you hit the. You know how you were learning to run the clutch and the car would bounce.
Let's look at it again.
Do whatever the hell they want. I guess I should clear my mind here a little bit and not say what I'm really thinking.
Good gracious.
I think that's the whole problem.
I really would like to know. I would like to know. Please, whatever it is,
do whatever the hell they want.
Whatever's in there,
please
share it.
Don't forget, he come out trying to be rough. I'm driving a point home, and then all suddenly I'm hung in neutral.
He's telling Congress they need to work. And he goes on vacation.
What happened is, it's the brain version. It's the brain version. We've all been there. You get excited about something. You've hurried to get over it, and when you stop, you realize, "Oh, I need to breathe."
Yeah, right.
And what's happened is he worked his mind so hard to try to sound like he was being authoritative, and it just used up all his brain energy.
Yeah, he had nothing left.
Anything left.
Guys, we didn't play this around Valentine's. This is Biden's This is probably the most troubling clip, honestly. Of Biden that we've seen.
Oh, well, that's a statement.
Yeah, this is okay. So they have their big cards, their gigantic postcards. Out at the White House, and this was on Valentine's. Joe and Jill have just taken pictures in front of this card.
Okay,
they've just done it. And Joe is going to say, do we need to take a picture? Do you want to take a picture? Jill is going to respond.
I just wanted to see it.
There's a Joe and Jill one right beneath you. You see that?
Yeah.
Show that one.
Yeah.
Bubba.
Joe's looking, thinking. He's going to turn to Jill.
Oh, gosh.
You never did this for me before when we were home.
All right, knows. He's going to ask Jill.
Want to get a picture in front?
Oh, no. They've already done it.
And she said, we already did. Here, listen.
Want to get a picture in front?
Oh, we did.
We already did.
I thought you exaggerated, but you haven't.
That's it.
I think that's the way that she said it. We already did.
Yeah.
Like I have to tell you things all the time that you've already done. This is just another example of that. Joe, sorry that we already did.
And then he did his little jog run.
Yeah.
Greg, you remember that moment? Those moments.
Greg.
What does that look like?
Yeah, we've seen it up close. I'm not. I mean, it has nothing to do with politics.
No, it really doesn't.
Absolutely not. It's like the security of the country. That's probably more. Yeah.
Sleep tight, America.
Yeah, that's not good.
You know, I find myself kind of hoping Obama's got his sweatpants on and running the country. Yeah, that's better than this. We'll be back. 14 minutes to the top. More Rick and Bubba coming up.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
Well, you know, let's finish the conversation before we drop the hammer on that one. But Mickey Dean has called the show, and those of you that are new to the show, Mickey Dean has been on the show many times through the years. Comedian, friend, Mickey. Hello.
Hello, buddy.
How you doing?
Well, for an old man, I'm not doing too bad. Y'all doing all right?
Mickey, can I ask you, how old are you now?
Wow, that's a big question.
Yeah.
I just turned 73.
73.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but I got the body of a 72-year-old.
Still got it.
I still got it. Mickey, so give us an update. Where are you? You know, I know you had some health issues for a while. And
yeah, how you doing overall?
Of course, you know, all of us being such good friends of yours, we just rushed to your side. So sorry about that. But at one time, I heard like that you were very, very sick and maybe even hanging on by a thread. And now I look up and you've called. So
yes.
Yeah. Tell us how you're doing.
Let me give a recap real quick, just a brief recap of what I've been through in the last 5 years. I was in assisted living in Jemison. They informed me that I had cancer, and I came to not UAB, but over in Shelby, and I had prostate cancer. So I did 45 radiation treatments, and the doctor came in and said, you got 6 months to live. And I told him I couldn't pay him. He'd give me 6 more months to live.
That's good.
Well, yeah, and I went to my urologist, of course, when you got prostate trouble. And he said, what's wrong? I said, I can't pee no more. He said, how old are you? I said, 72. He said, don't worry about it. You peed enough.
Mick still got it.
Mick still got it.
Hey, y'all. So I thought I was over with. We celebrated and the family and everything, and I had a lot of prayers for me. And the doctor came in, and I knew when he came in the door it wasn't good because he always told me to tell me a joke, and he didn't ask me that. And he said, "You got it spread to your liver."
Oh no!
And I turned yellow as a school bus and like to died. But praise God, I'm still here. I'm a born-again Christian now.
Amen.
I don't do clubs anymore. I do churches, schools, and corporate events, and I'm still funny after all these years.
Yes, you are. Mickey, this is really good news.
It really is.
Do you ever have that, and I'm just being completely transparent, you hear that somebody you know and somebody you love is in bad shape, and you're like, well, man, is this it? And you kind of get the look from them like, man, it's it. And you're like, well, the window has closed. I didn't see them before they got to the point that they don't know what's going on. And then all of a sudden, you're on the show telling jokes. I mean, this is unbelievable. It's really good news. It's really good news.
Well, I thank you. I'm writing jokes now and selling them. You can sell them.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah, I told Rodney Carrington one about a month ago, and he paid me $100. And I thought, I don't need to go on the stage anymore. I can write material. I wrote probably 2 notebooks for when I was in assisted living. I now live in the big town of Sipsey, Alabama. I'm back home in Walker County. Sipsey's Indian word that means ain't nothing to do here on the weekend.
But you belong back in Sipsey. I'm glad you've returned. It's almost like Walker County. There was an emptiness there.
There was a hole
when you left.
Yes, and everybody has embraced me. But Sipsey is a small town. The city limit sign's on the same post, y'all. They had a fair here, didn't have a one bumping car. They turned the Ferris wheel by hand. The town thief only has one finger. He only steals donuts. And you know what? This is the funniest thing about them. They got one police car, and they can't afford a breathalyzer test. They put an ugly woman in the back of a patrol car and ask you if you'll dance with her.
That's a good one.
That is good.
That's another $100 one there, Ricky.
That's I'm gonna call 150 on that one.
Cleaned it up.
Hey, Bubba.
Yeah.
Hey, Bubba.
Yes, sir.
You always told me to go to Nineveh. Well, I went, and you wasn't there.
Pass the gravy, please.
9 minutes to the top of the hour. The Rick and Bubba Show. Thank you for being with us today. Rick and Bubba Buffalo Wild Wings Charity Charge Day is today for the Alabama participating locations. David Pollack is our latest Rick and Bubba University, the podcast. And obviously coming off of a conference weekend for the manchurch.com, that has spawned lots of contacts to customer service. Where can I find churches near me that are doing the strategy? Well, this weekend, here's a bunch of them. If somebody's doing a man church, then they're doing the curriculum as well. So you got Saturday the 24th, Boone's Chapel Baptist Church, Prattville, Alabama. That's the land of I-92. Lee Moore will be there speaking this Saturday. Then on Sunday, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 of man churches. So Webster, Florida, down near Tampa. You've got man church this weekend on Sunday night with Blake Prime. Then also on Sunday night, Huntsville, Twickenham Church. Brian Gunn will be there. Tony Cooper will be in Tallahassee, Alabama at First Baptist Church. The coop is loose. And then First Baptist Church Tuscaloosa coming up on Sunday night, Scott Dawson. So all those are available, and you can find all those by going to themanchurch.com or looking ahead. If you find a man church going on, then they're doing the curriculum as well if you desire to plug in. All right, so Bubba,
did you hear what Joe Biden had said when he was asked about the Valentine thing? Did you hear what?
Oh, somebody asked him about it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he said that he can't remember a single time that his memory has failed him.
I can't remember.
Not once.
So anyway, that kind of sounds like some of the stuff that Barkley's about to do. We got a Barkley segment. Hey, Rick, where's Bubba? So he was doing a alternate.
He's usually on the kind of on the group that does the before and the after and the mid. But he actually left that to go be on an alternate broadcast.
All right, so this is for the All-Star game.
Yes.
Yeah, and so the All-Star game, which we mentioned earlier, but we didn't do the whole story. Over 200 points scored.
Yeah.
By the East team, was that right?
Yeah, it was 211 to 186, and they already broke 100 at halftime.
Well, just as we like to hack on each other, and we mentioned some of those stories today, Charles Barkley and Draymond Green hacking on each other, and Barkley hits him with a doozy. Here, listen to this.
And Draymond Green's going to make fun of Charles Barkley's suit first, and then Chuck is going to respond.
Oh, that's good.
How much you pay for this suit? Probably about $1,000. It looked like it. Okay. Hey, you know what's funny about that? You know who was asking about you the other day? Who's that? Nobody.
So good.
He was asking about you the other day. Who? Nobody. I love that.
How much you pay for that suit? $1,000. It looks like it. That's just great hacking.
They have a good time. And
sounds like this show.
Yeah, it really does. And then you said he's got another dig on San Francisco.
Yeah. Speaking of hacking, Charles Barkley's going to hack on San Francisco, and it makes everyone uncomfortable, and it's fantastic.
Hey, Reggie. Yes. If you had a chance of being cold or being around a bunch of homeless crooks in San Francisco, when you that's crazy. You're not welcome. They're not letting you in. You're not welcome.
We love San San Francisco.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
You can't even walk around down there.
Yes, you can walk around.
Yeah, with a bulletproof bag.
And security.
With a bulletproof vest.
Makes everybody so uncomfortable.
So good.
Also, let's get the Bill Maher stuff in. So Bill Maher, and he's as we said, Bill Maher. The only thing you can give him credit for, and you have to, is even though he sees the world in a way that we would disagree with almost everything, even he is not going to go along with things that are just absurd, even in his own.
He does have limits.
Yeah, you finally get the point. You're too embarrassed to want to be part of that. Yeah. So he's taking on something you've heard us take on so many times, and we even mentioned it this past weekend at the conference. Is you have a hard time believing that these climate extremists, especially the ones with money, that they truly believe that this is going to destroy the whole earth and we're all going to die when they haven't changed the way they're living. You just don't believe it. So here's Bill Maher talking about how that looks involving private airplanes. Here we go.
Now enjoy this fun photo collage of some of your favorite stars and politicians who speak about the need to reduce our carbon footprint, but who are always on private planes. That's right, all of them. If you don't see a celebrity's picture here, it's because we weren't allowed to use it. Or their series got canceled. But all the environmentalists of Hollywood and Washington do it. Their position on climate change is, we must do more to stop pouring carbon into the air, except for me when I want to go somewhere and then I take a private jet.
There's no way around that.
No.
And I don't care that they're doing it. I say more power to them if they can afford it, but you can't have both.
No.
You can't have both.
You either don't believe it or you don't think it applies to you, which is even a worse position.
Well, I kind of think it's the first one.
The atmosphere doesn't know whose carbon it is. It doesn't know R or D or conservative or liberal.
Yeah.
If you really believe that.
And I know that some of them will come out and I don't hear it as much as I did when it was popular, but maybe I'm tone deaf to it now. Are they even talking about carbon credits anymore?
I don't know.
I think they're so embarrassed by that
big of a
that they've even stopped saying that somehow I can fly my private jet to the latest thing, but if I buy carbon credits and Al Gore's bunch goes and plants trees, I'm good.
Yeah.
I think they thought, I could say that.
Yeah, they finally said, look,
that feels so absurd. I think I'm gonna stop saying it.
Yeah.
But guys, it is impossible for them to believe that throwing carbon emissions into the air is going to destroy the very planet in which we live.
Right.
For us or those who are little children right now, it is impossible for them to believe that and continue this.
Yeah.
It's just impossible.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do that. And so I think they think it's trendy to believe it, and even when they sit down and have their little, it's just like the cat in California.
Sure.
I mean, when you're sitting there with the governors telling everybody to wear a mask at family gatherings, and then every time you look, he's not wearing one.
Yeah, and he goes out to eat and has his own party.
Does it bother any of you when you see Gavin Newsom sitting there with his family enjoying their time together, but he doesn't want you to enjoy yours?
Yeah.
And the fact that he's not doing it means he doesn't really believe it works. Or he wouldn't be doing it.
Right.
Or he doesn't care about his grandmama or something.
Yeah.
She's still alive, whoever's there. So there you go. All right, there's you some updates. More to cover for a lot of you because you got more Rick and Bubba happening today. If you don't, catch any of the Rick and Bubba show that you missed today by either watching the YouTube archive or by going to our podcast archive. You also can find those by simply going to rickandbubba.com and clicking on listen, where you can listen live and listen to the archive. Top of the hour. If you leave us, have a good day. You got more Rick and Bubba. We'll come back.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
Oh, that's so good. Speedy might think about you 10 minutes this time. All right. So, look, Mickey, is the number that we see here? We can see this. Is this your cell or your number?
That's my cell phone. Yes.
In the Sipsy Swamp. Yeah, in the Sipsy Swamp. Yeah. So, well, Mickey, this is, I can't tell you.
Yeah, this is heartwarming to know that you're doing so good.
We just heard it was. We heard. Look, I got to apologize to you. I told several people you were dead. Rick.
Well, I went to a car lot the other day looking for a car, and the guy came out and said, "I just Googled you. You're dead."
Right, Google. Googled you.
Well, I'm
That's
not
Rick's
buying a
fault.
car from you.
Yeah, that's my fault, by the way, Mickey. I think
No, everybody thought I was gone, but when they find out I'm back, I want to do a shameless plug for myself, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I'm doing a show Valentine night, February the 14th, at Lee's Dinner Theater in Summerton, Alabama.
Well, that's great. So you get back up theater format,
Mickey,
come out. Here comes Mickey. He's bringing it.
This makes us feel so good. You're back at it.
Yeah.
We're billing it as the evening with Mickey Dean. I'm going to do about 2 hours if they can stand it. I'm going to do everything I can do. I went to Chattanooga not too long ago and did a show for Waffle House. Wow.
Really?
Wow. Hey, I went in a Waffle House, y'all, in Jackson, Mississippi.
Wow.
And a woman came over there with the nastiest hands I believe I ever seen in my life, waiting on people. Looked like she'd been roofing all day. No. And she said, "How would you like your eggs served?" I said, "By somebody else, if you don't mind."
It's a great day.
Yeah, it is.
That was right. That's good.
Now, Jonah was there, Bubba, but I asked for you, and they said they hadn't seen you.
They really haven't forgotten. That's a good one. Yo, Mickey, what a Mickey. All right. Mickey. Well, this is great. This is great.
Listen up. I want to do a plug for one of your sponsors.
All right.
I've had trouble with my back and my legs. I had blood clots in my legs, and I'm still being treated for that. I had a plane block the other day, and the nice folks out there at South Lake gave me a South Lake, whatever they call that hospital.
Sure.
And anyway, they were wonderful. If y'all have any trouble with your back or legs, have a pain block. I mean, I woke up a new man.
There you go.
But before that, and still to this day, Relief Factor is one of the best.
I know it. It is. Mickey, it is. Great to hear from you, and call in and let us hear from you, and we'll be all in touch now.
We are glad that you are doing
Mickey
good.
Dean is back, living in Sipsy. Stayed there at Nineveh for a while. Bubba never showed up.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
Rick and Bubba show, we're back. 866 We Be Big. Mike's in Birmingham. We're talking about this story that basically in the state of Florida, the Sunshine State, we now have a battle. Dermatologists versus environmentalists. Coral reef versus sunscreen. Mike, is there any legitimacy to this story at all?
Hey guys, not really, but the way the states work, this started in Hawaii about 3 years ago when they passed a law. The environmentalists have gotten involved and said some of these chemical components of these sunscreens are harming the reefs. So they forced that into Hawaii, and we knew it was going to spread, and now it's down into Florida, California. And what happens is dermatologists know that breaking away from using sunscreens is a killer. So that's what this is all about. Now, the fact is that real simply, there's a couple of different kinds of sunscreens. There's mineral-based or there's chemical-based.
Mm-hmm.
And the chemical-based ones are the ones that they're talking about. And those are the ones that everybody's used to using for all these years.
Because they're bad.
Copper tone and
they
all
work.
that baloney.
Yeah.
Yeah, they work. They do their job, but they have this chemical component in them. And so the mineral-based ones, like the ones we sell,
all natural.
They're out there. Yeah, these products are out there. And what's happening is. Yes.
Hey, Mike, let me ask you this: what do those two chemicals they pointed out? What do they do? I mean, can they have sunscreen without those in them, or what's the deal?
Yeah, they're just a chemical barrier. What happens is with these chemical-based ones, they get absorbed into your skin, and that's how they protect you. That's why in the old days they used to tell you had to put something on for 30 minutes before you went in the water and got in the sun and all that, because it gets absorbed. Well, the mineral-based ones don't. They just go on and they block, and they're mainly their main components of the mineral-based are zinc or titanium oxide.
Yeah.
So If you remember the old days, I'm a 63-year-old guy now. I used to put zinc on my nose when I was a kid, the white stuff.
Right.
And so those mineral-based ones have more of those components, so they're a blocker rather than absorption. And they just had another report that came out that's showing that these chemicals are also getting absorbed not just into the reef, but they're getting absorbed into your body. So just another reason to steer away from them. And so there's plenty of mineral-based options out there, and all those big companies that were doing chemicals are all switching to mineral.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is this one of those things like, what we've had with many products? We come back, we say, hey, this is a little outdated. We can do better than this, because the sunscreen can be, safer for the environment.
6 minutes past the hour from the Big Boy Studio, as Ken Osborne just told you. Thank you for being with us. Speedy, the real Greg Burgess, Helmsy, Eddie Van Adler, all here. And put your hands together and welcome back for a brand new hour of Bill Bubba Buster.
Rick, glad to be here. Thank all of you for being part of the little party we call Rick and Bubba.
David Pollack, our guest on Rick and Bubba University. The podcast, if you haven't watched it or listened to it, wherever you get podcasts, it is out now. Rick and Bubba Buffalo Wild Wings Charity Charge in Sweet Home, Alabama today at participating locations. The benefit will go to Operation Healing Forces, taking care of those who've served us in Special Forces. Bubba, are you terrified of AI?
I'm not terrified of it. It's I'm often wondered if what it can do is overstated.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, there's some amazing things that we're seeing come out of it that I don't know. Jury's out. Let me put it that way.
I love technology, but not as much as you see.
Mm-hmm.
But I still love technology.
Everybody.
Always and forever.
All right, so Adler, tell us what we're about to experience in the ever-concerning world of AI.
All right, so OpenAI is one of these AI companies, and they just released Sora, S-O-R-A.
Why are the scary names?
And it's the latest iteration of AI, and this is creating video from just a text prompt. Like, you type into a website, puppies playing in the snow.
Yeah.
And here's puppies playing in the snow, you guys, and it looks like puppies playing in the snow.
It's golden retrievers.
That snow is not real. Those puppies are not real. This never happened, and this is not real footage. And it looks, and it's just from a text prompt. Hey, make a video that has this. I'm going to show you guys a couple other examples.
Yeah.
Am I the only one thinking of the sick misuse of this?
No, that's the first thing I thought of.
Hello.
This is what it said. A
Fish
white
gonna do whatever you say.
A white and orange tabby cat is seen happily darting through a dense garden. The camera is at a very low angle, and it has a narrow field of view. I mean, you can get that specific on what you want. And here's a cat walking through a garden. And it looks like it was shot by National Geographic or something,
And none of it's real.
And none of this is real. This is not real. The plants aren't real. The ground is not real. None of that is real.
Okay.
Scary.
I'm joking a little bit right here, but I'm also saying I think it would be beneficial if you were trying to fake something. Could you type in Joe Biden gives coherent speech?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh yeah. Huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then come out and go, what y'all mean you didn't have it together? Did you see his speech yesterday?
Adler, what is this one?
I don't know,
It's
Rick,
just a
you're giving
bird.
it too much credit.
There's a bird that looked. If I just saw that on my social media, I'd be like, oh, that's a cool looking real bird. That's not a real bird. That's a fake bird.
What did they tell it to produce?
They said a
Super cool bird.
A close up of Victorian crowned pigeon showcasing its blue feathers.
Okay.
The background is blurred, drawing attention. So you can get that specific with it.
What if I didn't get specific and just told it to give me a bird? Would it create a bird that doesn't even exist?
Sure. I mean, it could. Some of the weaknesses you'll see. Here are some wolves playing. Every once in a while, a wolf will disappear. Or a wolf will be spawned. You see that?
Yeah.
So you got wolves showing up, wolves
They're popping in and out
disappearing.
of each other.
Yes. So it
Okay. Yeah, look at
struggles.
that.
It struggles with groups sometimes.
Okay, all right.
Not
Yeah, that one sneezed and another one came out of it.
Which guys, you remember when you're like you're shown a picture and you're like, is that real? Now it's video. Yeah, we
Adler,
have to have the same level.
Have you
of
tried
scrutiny.
that out?
I haven't tried any of this stuff. I haven't tried write a sweet Valentine's Day letter to my wife. Nothing like that.
I mean,
thought about it though.
I've done some of the Chat GP.
GTP, I believe.
GTP.
Or GPT. GPT. That's what it is.
And it is amazing how quick it can turn those things out. And I haven't done the video stuff. I looked
Look at
for it
this.
this weekend, but I didn't find it.
So if you want to terrify everybody,
That doesn't
her
look
head.
real.
Look at her head turned
Her
around.
head looks messed up.
That doesn't look real.
That's messed up.
Yes, it is messed up. But
All right, so it struggles with fake sharks coming after people on the beach.
yes, it does.
Okay, but remember the last class of these we saw was last year, and it had like people eating a sandwich, and you remember how messed up it looked.
Yes.
But
They've come
see
a
how
long way,
how
haven't they?
far
They're
it's
moving
come in a
forward.
year. Yeah.
Yes.
Now this is totally fake.
all fake.
What is it? What's it
An
say?
ant inside an ant hill.
A point of view of a ant going through an ant colony.
Good night.
Oh, yeah, it looks real.
What about the giant
never
duck
looked in
walking through the streets of Boston?
Now I think this is real. I think that is real actually. If I had to guess.
Stories today.
I know. What is
All right.
That's, well, the feet don't look like they're really touching the.
No. Looks like Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade.
It does.
Oh, those people just got
They
smashed.
sure did.
But you'll see, it's funny how these AI models, initially they struggled. They were putting 10 fingers on hands sometimes, but they keep getting better and better and better and creepier.
Well, the problem, I know we all see some of the obvious problems. If you want to destroy some political candidate, you want to destroy person just to destroy them, you could do an AI image of them with a woman or man that's not their spouse, or and them go, that's not me. I wasn't there. It looks like you. I see you right there. So we're now, I think you've
Look,
already
I got 10 fingers.
I think Bubba mentioned this several months back. We can no longer say seeing is believing.
No, you can't. No, you really
Let
can't.
me, Adler, you would know. Was it YouTube or somebody put out rules saying if it was AI generated that there had to be a tag saying so?
I hadn't seen that. But
yeah, the Congress was working on something.
Yeah,
like that.
because if not, to y'all's point, I mean, how do you know what's real, what's not?
Yeah. Well, we got to have some kind of heads up.
And it can not only do real-looking things. This is from a prompt that was like, "Hey, do an animated, fun-looking gang of like little monsters," and it cranks that out in 20 seconds. So it can do it all. You want it anime style? What do you want? I got it. Anything you want, I can do it.
That is so crazy.
Well,
what do you want?
When you look at all this, the biggest thing, just like we worried about a generation that was raised on video games, how we lost all the benefits of playing outside, climbing trees, building forts, and they all just kind of became weird socially. Even though video games in and of themselves are not horrible if they're monitored and and they're rationed, but. So we're going to get to the point where instead of sitting out in the woods and experiencing what we believe is God's, though fallen creation, still glimpses of heaven and just the experience of the great outdoors. Nah, I'm just going to sit here and pretend I'm in the outdoors.
Put that big thing on my face that they got out there. And I'm going to do all this.
Sure. I mean, I can't imagine. These things can be used for good things, and I got that, but we just can't ever seem to get that right.
There are some positives in this. I mean, you
could
could teach people how to do certain things, fly airplanes, do surgery, work on. I mean, there's a lot of positive, but like you said, if it turned into negative things that you were trying to slander somebody, there is no telling what they could do.
Right. I wasn't there. Yes, you were. We're all looking at it right now. That's not me. Yes, it is. Looks just like you. That's not you. No, it's not. You're telling me that's not you. It's not. And it looks, well, you're right. It looks just like me, but it's not me.
What they're going to have to do is apply like a filter to all this stuff.
Yeah.
There's software programs.
But I'm going to say that's not real.
Yeah, that's not real. Hermit crab with a light bulb on it.
But see, you there's no way you can tell that's not real.
Or just the defensive prosecution of cases where they show video evidence on either side.
Oh, yeah.
You could create whatever you want. Go, see, I wasn't there. I was down in the Bahamas.
Or
Look
a
at me right
security
here.
camera or whatever.
Alibis, yeah.
And they can use a software program to look at a picture and say, oh no, you can see where they edited it here because a computer can pick up on that kind of stuff that we can't see with our eyes. They're going to have to do that for almost every video now.
We'll be back 15 minutes past. Phone calls are next. 866-WE-BE-BIG lines are available. We'll chat with you, America, right after this.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
Even safer for your, absorption into your body. But if it doesn't block the sun and you start getting skin cancer and they're not as good as the others, you haven't accomplished anything. Or you're saying that, because to me, if the mineral-based are just as effective and more healthy, then why do we even need the others?
Yeah, it was because of just the way it was done in the past, and it was cheaper. So these newer brands or the mineral-based ones do cost a little more. But I'm watching the new big players come back or move into the mineral-based side, and they're keeping prices down. So the fact is, it's just the way it was done, and this is all environmentally driven. But that's okay. You want to make sure you use sunscreen, and there's options for you.
Mike, let me ask you this:
mineral-based one.
Here in America, when did we actually start using sunscreen? I mean, it hasn't been around forever. When did that really kind of kick in? Do you know?
Yeah, it was in the early '80s is when it really. Sunscreens have been around a long time, but what we know as sunscreens were in the '80s, and then mineral-based products have been around, but they didn't really hit the market. The one we handled came into the market in the year around 2000, and so they've been around. It's just that people ignore. Even though there's a cancer threat, lots of people just ignore it.
Well, I'll tell you why is because before I remember growing up, the whole thing was
we never had them.
You didn't want anything that didn't give you a tan. Everybody's trying to get a tan. You can't get a tan with sunscreen on, and so people people wanted to get a tan. What about and everybody's asking, do the mineral based do they work? Do they work just as well as the others?
Oh yeah, absolutely. In fact, they work better in my opinion.
Easy, Mike. Easy.
I
know you got them for sale. I got it. Rick and Bubba T-shirts are better than others as well. So we were we talked about sunscreen last hour, and we had a caller, and he hung up, Greg, who's African American, and he said, "I can't believe y'all didn't ask the guy about African Americans and sunscreen, and the brothers have to wear sunscreen." Well, I know, obviously, I don't know the health side of that. I know that when Don Juan worked here. He had a certain hue that he desired, and he would really be paranoid about the sun because he only wanted to be a certain level of dark.
Right.
And but as far as the pigmentation allowing you to not to be as susceptible to sunscreen, I mean to cancer, skin cancer because of sunburn, that I don't know. We could have asked.
According to Google, yes, black people do need to wear sunscreen.
Okay. All right. But not just because of.
For health reasons.
UV radiation gets to you no matter what your pigment is.
I got you. Okay. All right. Well,
that has nothing to do with the tone of your skin, or
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so I hope that Greg heard that. That's what his name was.
Yeah, Greg.
Not our Greg.
Yeah, not our Greg. I was screening up that phone call, and the guy calls in and he's like, "Hey, man, I want to know. You guys didn't ask. Do black people need to wear sunscreen?" And I was like, "Oh, you know what? That's a great question. Let me put you on hold." And then I wanted to make sure that this was a black guy asking that question. For some reason, I felt better if it was going to be a black guy asking that question. So I did have that awkward moment on the phone where I was like, "Now, sir, are you a black American, sir?" And he's like, "Yes, man. Come on. Put me on hold. I need to ask this question." So that was kind of fun.
So there you go, Greg.
Got it.
There you go.
Greg, the answer is yes when it comes to skin cancer. Everybody needs some help there.
Yep.
And once again, trying not to offend anybody, Adler, you were offensive on the phone.
I know. I'm so sorry.
Well, at least you did it again. At least you didn't accuse him of stealing something.
I was trying not to be offensive.
That was much worse. That's what you did last time. You fell all over yourself.
That was bad. Yeah, it was real bad. Almost as bad as the stench that's coming from my rump today, boy.
What's your problem?
Oh, wow. All right, so
what
let's
a transition.
Just kidding.
You don't bathe?
Just kidding.
So let's talk about the fact you think
I'm not whiffing your rump.
that you may stink a little bit.
I'm not doing that.
I'm calling it. So we're having this conversation. I'm telling you about the guy that's on hold, and then I just caught a whiff of myself. I'm just like, and by the way, I smell bad. And by the way, I stink.
Why?
So why do you think you stink?
I had a weird night last night, guys. So I worked.
He didn't
out.
take a shower.
I had a doctor's appointment with Aaron, checking on the baby. By the way, I've got a countdown app on my phone. We're at 74 days, guys.
Hey, buddy.
In 75 days, I'm gonna be a dad.
A stinky dad.
A stinking dad,
Better
guys.
start bathing
right.
I'm gonna be
now.
a stinking dad.
If you think you stink now.
So I had that late in the afternoon, and then I was like, "Hey, babe, I'm gonna go work out really quick."
Is that how you said it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was more like sexy, that's how we talk to each
baby.
other. That's how we talk to each other. Yeah,
Let
more
me
like
tell you.
that. Yeah,
Let me
exactly
tell
like
you.
that.
I'm going to pump some iron.
Gonna go pump some iron. Yeah.
I'm going to go move some weight around. You'll be thankful for that. We are 20 minutes past the hour and phone troll time. Calvin Speedy Wilburn's got the phone calls at 866-WE-BE-BIG. You can join us. We hope you will. All 10 lines are available, and there is room for you. We'll also keep that line moving with our little phone troll barrier there. 30 seconds, the buzzer will sound. Your time on the program will come to a close. We'll get to the next caller. Bubba and Helmsley each have a timeout apiece. They could give that to you, but it's only one apiece. No meaningless shout-outs, no shameless plugs. None of those things will be allowed on the troll. This is about comments, questions, bringing information to the table. We'll get started with Kathy out of Tennessee. Kathy, you got 30 seconds on the show. Go ahead.
A part of the AI problem that I don't think y'all have touched on is the fact that AI uses art that has been generated by other people in order to create the pictures that it creates. So there has been an uproar in the art community over
copyrights and things like that. So it can't gather this stuff on its own. It has to borrow from what humans have already put out there.
It is, yes, correct. It is making from what you feed it. That's what it makes. So you run all the Pixar movies through the AI software program, and then you ask for, give me a Pixar-looking movie about a big blue dog or whatever, and then it'll do that in that style because it knows what Pixar looks like and it knows what a big blue dog is.
So it would be like a song that was influenced by other songs, but.
Well, again, it goes back to it can't make something from
right,
nothing.
yeah.
So,
Thankfully.
but if it can comb the whole internet,
right?
You got an endless supply of things to look at.
So people are saying that picture you just generated, Mr. AI, you used my creativity as a foundation, right?
Yes.
Is that what people are saying?
You'd basically show it a 12-hour long video of waves crashing and then tell it to make another video of waves crashing. It would take that and what it knows about waves crashing and make a brand new video of waves
It's just
crashing.
the speed of it, right? And the ability to duplicate.
Right.
Lines are available. You can join us too. Tim in Dodge City. Tim, I know we're getting out of here. We're getting out of Dodge. Tim, go ahead. 30 seconds.
Hey guys, real quickly, I want to appreciate the years that you have given me. I have you brought so much entertainment in my life. You made me laugh so much. At least 2 times I peed myself in the last 20 years. So
good. Well, that's our goal.
What an accolade.
So, but I had an experience yesterday. My wife and I went to a steakhouse. I won't say here in our city because I love the people. But there's a lady walked in there with this big, I guess it's called a baloney dog or whatever it is.
A baloney
huge
dog.
Hair wrapped up in a hairy blanket. And I'm sitting here in the restaurant ready to go. And I asked them, I said, is she going to be able to bring that in? They said, well, we're not allowed to ask her about that dog. I said, well, you're not allowed to ask her about her disability, but you asked her if it's a service dog in a restaurant. I'm sick of this. I don't know how we can get this changed. So that's my rant.
I thought the dog had to be. It had to have some kind of paperwork or something that said it really was a service dog.
Well,
you can't just bring any dog in there.
Up to this point, you could go online and get something
There's
sent
service
to you from Puerto
and there's
Rico.
Support.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's two different ones.
All right. So which one?
A lot of companies are not. They're not going by the ones that are not generated here in this country. You can't bring one in from overseas.
So what's the one I can't stop? I mean, like they can go anywhere. What's the higher ranking of
That's
what you
the
just
service.
said?
Service.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So service, you can't question me.
Yeah. Well, like if I'm blind, I
Right.
got a service
That's
dog.
understood.
And that's
Okay.
that's a service dog.
I got you. Okay.
But that's really all they
if
train for that. They don't train turkeys and pigeons and doves and all
True.
that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they got
And that's
on that
it's
list.
like service dog, support animal. So it could be a turkey.
But I don't have as many restrictions on a support animal as far as I can turn that down, right?
From what I
Yes,
see, the
yes.
only thing a emotional support animal can do is they can live with an owner if there is a no pets policy at a place. Other than that, it doesn't seem like an emotional support animal can really. They can't go to public places if they're not allowed. They can't go on an airplane if it's not allowed. That kind of thing. Really, the only thing an emotional support animal can do can live with their owner if there's a no pets policy is what I'm reading right now.
We're getting a lot of calls. A lot of people say that some are going like to if y'all said this, I couldn't hear y'all, to Amazon or whatever.
Yeah.
Did y'all mention that?
We said because Bubba said they're having to crack down and say, look, it had to be generated here in this country.
It had to be
your
legit,
certification and all that. You can't just go online and grab it.
Right. Well, like on Amazon, you can order these service dog vests and just throw them on your dog, and they're not really service dogs.
I'm gonna put them on.
Don't we
Millie.
have to have some paperwork or something? Okay, thank
I'm
you.
gonna put one on Millie and let her go chew
Please,
everything up.
please do. Please do.
Let me tell you, she is as far from emotional support as I can get.
Yeah, she actually
She goes the other way. She
yeah.
tears down your emotions.
She tears down
basically,
Greg.
basically tears you down.
Andrew in Alabama. Andrew, go ahead. 30 seconds.
Hey guys, can y'all hear me okay?
Sure. Yeah, really good.
Can't hear him.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
phone.
Good to talk to you guys. I just wanted to say that my emotional support animal, it has to be a lion. I feel like that would solve a lot of problems. It would put a stop to the service animal in public things anyway, because if someone had a lion, they'd probably get on there, get after it to stop it. And then also, if I ever need to crush a serpent's head, I got my lion with me to do it. So
You talking about a lion? Okay.
So I heard about the lion. There was a lion. So I just started growling like a lion.
Cody.
I mean, it don't get no better than that.
By the way, I saw that another lion tamer was killed over the weekend.
I did too.
Oh, well, it was
Got
ugly.
him.
Boy, it killed him in 10 minutes.
Just a matter of time.
Cody in Helena. Cody, go ahead. 30
In front of
seconds.
a paying crowd.
Morning, fellas.
Hey.
I heard John Morgan on the show Thursday, and I was like, that sounds like he's a pretty funny guy. I'm going to take my wife to see him Friday night.
Oh boy.
So, first sentence that came out of his mouth, I looked at my wife and said, he didn't say that on the Rick and Bubba show.
No, we got
We
some.
covered that a little bit earlier,
We
if we
covered that
missed it.
earlier. You may have missed that. That was sorry about that. I mean, that's one of those things you just kind of go, "Hey, sorry about that." We didn't. We've never had that complaint before, and so we certainly didn't know anything about. And I understand now it's not just the warm up people, and even the one guy that said, "Well, some people are being oversensitive." Well, again, but we have a level of sensitivity that people kind of depend on us for, and we did not meet that criteria. But we didn't think we had a problem with John Morgan.
Yeah,
and I'm not trying to
news
sidestep
stuff.
our responsibility, but we certainly are apologetic that happened to people, and it won't happen again. But I mean, John's been on how many times?
A bunch.
And have we ever had anybody say, "Wow, thanks for sending me to that much"?
No, that's why we're so shocked by it. Really.
Right. And and then sometimes the warm up acts can be real problematic. Kirk, Columbus, Mississippi. Hey, Kirk, 96.1, go.
Hey, buddy, this is Kirk.
Yes, yes, I was hoping that.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I'm watching the show, and we're talking about service animals or or comfort animals, and we actually have a prescription that we had to get for our golden doodle for my wife, because when we were flying to Chicago back and forth to Birmingham, Southwest required.
Yeah, I would think you'd have to have some paperwork.
Yeah,
and I think that's fair. For you to say, look, the doctor did say this is what she needs. I don't think that's asking too much for people to.
No,
because unfortunately,
you do have an avenue.
Unfortunately, people, believe it or not, will abuse that and
Sure
just
they
want to
will.
take their animals with them everywhere they go, which is not really the best experience for everybody else, especially if it's not trained to do anything. Bottom of the hour, we'll be back. 866 We Be Big might be able to squeeze some more in before we're done, but we'll continue when the Rick and Bubba show comes back.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
guys. Bubba, how are you?
Well, Rick, I'm good. I hope everybody is good. Had a big Super Bowl weekend. A lot going on in the sports world this weekend for sure.
Yep.
We started off kind of crazy here this morning, and shout out to Alabama Power. Any of you guys out there, we do not have power this morning on our side of the broadcast plaza and teleport, so we've reported that, but we need some attention.
Well, it's we're working through it.
Please.
It's one of those things. I look at some of the things going on with the Kansas City Chiefs winning their first Super Bowl in 50 years, and Speedy being as careful as could be all week to be sure he didn't mojo the Chiefs. I wonder, when he was making his way to the studio today, not knowing he would be in total darkness with no power, was there a moment where he let it creep in that he thought he could have something?
Just a little.
Huh?
Just a little.
I mean, you have to consider. I mean, Speedy's the most likely candidate that he thought he could have something, right?
It was right up until I saw Greg Burgess on my caller ID.
Greg, how was that?
And then nobody answered. They didn't care.
Hey, how about when you're the first to arrive and buddy it's darkness,
and you're trying to in your head go out? Let me think what this is about.
Mhm.
Hear no generator. That's not good.
No.
And buddy, it was.
talking about what they're
we
supposed
had
to do?
nothing in here.
Right.
We had, nothing.
Well, what's weird is the whole plaza is not out. It's just parts of the plaza.
Just part, which is,
and then we're
that's
out.
not- and the parking deck, us and the parking deck.
It looks like
parking deck was spooky looking.
You talking about the parking deck of death?
First watch is out as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's just this corner of the city.
Yeah,
center.
it looks like we got two big step-down transformers in our service room, and one of them's active, one of them's not. So we're on the one that's not.
Of course.
Yeah.
As it should be. So this has caused all kinds of issues in different places. So we apologize. If you're somebody who's a tuber, you're back and rolling. If you're catching us on things like TuneIn, that's taking a while to reboot. It'll eventually be back. It's going to be a process there. Your affiliates are kind of going in and out because we got a problem. What used to be New York is now Denver. So we've made a change there, and we'll. There's a mess. And when you start trying to build it back, I mean, it takes time to build it back.
Yeah,
it's like a storm has come through, and we're trying to build our house back.
Right. Speaking of affiliates,
Piece by piece.
I've talked to a number of program directors this morning where their alarms went off to
That's
dead
good to
air
hear from 'em.
automated affiliates and their hair's all a mess, and they're at the studio now.
Yeah.
We should get shout out to y'all. We love you. And
but here's the good news: when you went to automation, you thought to yourself, "I wonder if it really will warn us." Without anybody there, if the show's not on, listen, I guess it will. So that's good,
Yeah, right?
I mean,
yeah. And then you just got that panic drive to this. Is there anything worse going to the studio, going to the show, and
it's terrible.
Hey, we're down.
Oh, it's sorry taking me out of my whole rhythm.
I know.
You know, I have a rhythm. You know, I got to have a rhythm. Now I'm all on my rhythm. I'm walking around, don't know where to go. My office is dark. I just wander around. You know, sit down, have my morning, normal routine, sitting in the dark. That's weird.
Yeah.
Go to the bathroom with a flashlight.
Sure. That was me sitting in there. But you put it in the floor and illuminate the room.
Yep.
So anyway, we'll work through it. And as you may not be able to hear us, but then you might. And then sometimes you hear us, and then we go to commercial break and you lose us. So we're working through all that. I mean, the words I'd have to use would be just, tones and this and that and house and change and swinging things. And there's just a lot to reset. You forget this thing, when it's running on all cylinders, it's a fine old machine, but there's a lot of parts.
Yeah, a lot
of parts.
So
many parts. So all we can really do is keep working on what we can do on our end and do the show. And those of you that can see it and hear it, enjoy it. Those of you who cannot, we'll keep working on it.
Yeah, and things that are not online maybe will be online shortly. We're working on that, and if we have any of our friends with Alabama Power close by, we need your attention, please.
Yeah, and we've called that in, so they're probably en route. The problem is they didn't know about it until we got here because we're the first ones to get here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be back 15 minutes past the hour. 866-WE-BE-BIG is our number. You got the Rick and Bubba Show. Everything you want to know about it, stay in touch, all the different ways you can get the show, and it's a good time to know that, rickandbubba.com.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
It is 35 minutes past the hour. SimplySafeBubba.com. Now more than ever. You need to protect your property, and you need to use the best in the business, and it doesn't get any better than SimplySafeBubba.com. Their advancements in the industry they are going off. It looks like Secretariat out front. There's distance between them and everybody else, and I'll tell you why. They started out trying to think of a security system that renters could use. One that wasn't so intrusive, one that was customizable, one that could be taken with you when you moved. Then it just grew into just being a better system no matter your situation, because you get comprehensive protection. There's not a part of your property or your home or your business that they go, well, we can't really do a sensor for that. No, you can put them anywhere. You install it yourself if you don't think that you can, and it's not that complicated. People like me, though, probably still need help. So if you need help, they'll help you with that. The 24/7 live guard protection, what's better than the agents can actually see, speak to, and confront intruders, emergencies in the home or on the property. They can get help quicker, about half the price of what others want to charge you for 24/7 monitoring. And you can try it for 60 days risk-free. Okay, if you don't like it, they'll refund you, but you're going to love it. Also, get 20% off the new system with a Fast Protect plan. You're going to want that by going to SimplySafeBubba.com today. SimplySafeBubba.com or RickandBubba.com under the sponsors. Remember, there is no safe quite like SimplySafeBubba.com safe. All right, so the lottery, we love lottery stories. What is it that intrigues us about lottery stories? Is it because it's the get rich for doing nothing?
Yeah, I think it's just the large amount of money that we're talking about in all of this.
Real rich, real quick.
Yeah, we have a Washington, D.C. man who is suing Powerball and the D.C. Lottery for refusing to pay a $340 million prize last year. The lawsuit claims his numbers came up on the D.C. Lottery website. The problem, Rick, the numbers on the website were wrong.
Oh, you can't even have an own site. That's bad. So they're like
John Cheeks. He bought a Powerball ticket on January the 6th, 2023, using a personal number combination of family birth dates and other things. I'm not a regular except when the jackpot goes up. We've heard this many times. Cheeks did not see the January 7th drawing, but he pulled the website up on his laptop and saw his numbers. He said, I got excited. I didn't shout. I didn't scream. I just politely called a friend and took a picture as he recommended, and that was it. I went back to sleep. But the numbers posted on the D.C. Lottery website were not the same as those pulled in the Powerball drawing on January the 7th. His lawsuit claims the numbers remained on the D.C. Lottery website for 3 days, and the size of the Powerball prize at that time was $340 million.
Oops. I mean, you can't even get the lottery numbers right. I thought I had 300. I was already telling Gwen. Lake Mitchell's paid off. I done won it.
So
that would be so.
Can you imagine? That sounds like something that would happen to me.
Oh, yeah, that's a typo right
he
there.
He grabbed that pill and rolled back over, thought he was rich.
Golly.
You know what? In this case, he didn't win the drawing. The information on the website was bad.
Right. Yeah.
So how do you balance that out? They're guilty of putting out wrong information, but not drawing his numbers.
I think they got to write him a check. I don't.
How big?
I don't think it's over $1 million, but I think they have to write him a check.
Just our bad.
Based off.
Didn't mean to do that to you.
The punitive emotional damages.
Yeah.
Because that would cause some big time emotion, especially for three days.
Right.
So 3 days, he thought he was.
Gracious.
So you're not of the school of but it was wrong.
No, because they did.
Because it was
wrong.
irresponsible.
Yeah, absolutely.
They made a mistake.
Their mistake.
Yeah, they need to pay
They caused this situation.
Correct. Yeah.
But like we said, somewhere in the fine print, it said this site is probably not the official word. You'll find it in there somewhere.
Yeah, they probably won't have to write him a check.
Is it enough in the small print?
I think they should write him a check.
I do too.
Because this won't be a jury thing, right? This should be a judge that'll decide this.
Probably. A good lawyer will get in there and talk about what Helmsy said. He was just emotional.
And there's
wreck.
some truth to that.
Yeah.
That would be emotional.
He tried to cash it in twice. Of course, they told him they couldn't take it. He put it in a safe deposit box. He contacted a lawyer, and the lawsuit filed by the attorney claims Cheeks was eventually told that a lottery contractor
had accidentally posted the wrong numbers and that it was a mistake.
You can't even have an independent contractor.
That's what happens. We outsource everything.
Hey, just get one number wrong.
Wow.
That's it.
It's a big
You'll
deal.
get some people tore up. I mean, what if he gone to work and quit?
Oh, yeah.
That's what
That's what I'm saying. Told everybody to kiss his rump. People he didn't like. Whatever his boss. Bought a truck.
That was a very funny Gary Larson Far Side.
Yes.
When that guy's standing there and he relieved himself on the boss, he said, "I take it you have won the lottery."
And you better be right. Not just the website. You better have it in the bank.
Oh, hey, don't want to bring this up, Greg, but you remember, and it's a long time ago, and we weren't the people running it. Remember this?
Yeah, the
Long-
$10,000 reverse drawing.
Yeah, long time ago.
Long
we
time
were not in charge of it.
No.
We were simply there DJing. Okay? And you remember when people DJ, they'd ask you to come up and draw. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Remember the reverse drawings? You want to be the last number out?
Yeah, you don't want your number called. You
Right.
want to be the last.
The whole thing is it's not people are cutting deals, Bubba. People are buying people's number.
Oh, yeah.
I think I was at that one too.
Do you remember this?
It got right down to the last 2 or 3, and
do you
then there was
remember
a problem.
Do you remember the issue?
Yeah, there were
Bubba,
two-
I think you were there. I think it was all three of us.
They had it, the thing they were spinning it in, you couldn't see in it. Like a lot of them are clear. This
Right.
one wasn't. And it came down to there were 2 people standing. There was only 1 ball left in the
Yeah.
machine.
So the winner was determined from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Somebody forgot
There was
to put
no
the ball
chance
in
of
there.
that ball. So, and there's no way that it was a cheat because they were letting us draw out, and we weren't in on it. We looked at the guy and said, "I got news for you."
They ain't but one ball in here, and there's 2 people standing here.
He went and got another one after
So-
they declared the winner and wrote the number on it. And
So
'cause you
one
got
guy was the winner before they ever started drawing
Correct.
them out.
Yes,
If
there
you're
was
not
never-
in there, you're the last.
all
Yes.
never a
that selling
chance.
your numbers and all that.
Yeah.
And look, the guy just said there'll be no mention of this.
Said there's a mistake. He said, these people will go crazy.
And they just gave the $10,000 to the guy that was the winner from the very beginning because his ball wasn't even in there.
I might have slipped out and gone to the bathroom.
It was crazy uncomfortable.
And they'd already gotten mad at him about the rules on auctioning them off. They're different depending
Somebody
on
somebody got in over their head on the reverse drawing. Somebody put together a reverse drawing. They were in over their head a little bit.
And you would think they would require you to use something you could see through.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was just solid. But
luckily for
he
him,
wasn't
you
cheating.
couldn't see it.
He wasn't cheating because we were the ones drawing the ball out, and obviously we weren't in on it. Of course, I think I made.
No, he wasn't cheating. Kind of like this bunch right
He
here.
made a mistake.
He made a big mistake though,
big
but he
one.
did cause a lot of people to spend money that they had never had a chance.
Yeah, yeah.
It was not random. It was not a random drawing.
Golly.
There was a ball not in there, so there's your winner. We cranked the first ball out.
We went over and said, "Hey, man, just give me a heads
So-
up." One ball. He goes,
deceptive.
"Oh, you kidding?" He got him a blank, wrote the winning one on there. Hey, here it is, buddy.
It was awful, terrible. And
Who's the one that told him?
I don't remember. That feels like that'd be a Bubba thing. He's over and tell him. We'd probably send Bubba.
Well, like
Yeah.
moving his
Yeah,
mouth.
I
I'll
remember
tell you
how-
what, you're missing a bubble.
I remember it was uncomfortable.
For some reason, I remember there was a girl singing through karaoke during some of the breaks. It was pretty bad.
It was real bad.
Just not a good night altogether.
No,
when
it
there was
was a
one
rough
ball
night.
left,
Rough
they
night.
said, "Let her sing again."
Sing again while we check the score.
I tell you what, darling, get your niece back up there and sing one more for us.
Yep.
Somebody put her tracks in the cassette tape.
Yes.
Let's do it double time.
Yeah, that. Remember, I wish I hadn't brought that up. I'm uncomfortable all over again.
Listen, they would have turned because they were already mad at him about some auction rule they didn't like.
Well, gamblers will get mad.
Yeah.
If they think there's somebody tampering with the rules, it would have been complete mutiny. They would have gone nuts.
I wanted to go up to and go, "Hey, you know how bad they got about the auctioning off? You ain't seen nothing yet."
Oh yeah. You think they hated the way you handled the food? Wait till you get to this.
They hate that karaoke singing, but they're really mad at it.
I think we just took our check, got in the van, drove away.
Yeah, we did.
Man,
Well, I'll tell you where it was at.
Don't be part of
I
that.
remember where we were at.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I do.
We'll be back checking anything we missed this hour, and for a lot of you, we'll wrap up our day together. But a new week has begun. We'll be back right after the break.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
Adler's running around. He's been talking to people. He's been screaming, "We're the Titanic. We've hit an iceberg." The band is playing. So we're trying to get it all back. Major power outage here at the Broadcast Plaza and Teleport. We're confident that Alabama Power is working on that. We certainly hope so to get all that back rolling again. Sadly, our generator had an issue doing what it's actually purchased to do. But we finally got it rolling. And then you're dealing with tones and you're dealing with reboots, and it's just your Rick and Bubba experience today will be a little rickety. And
we still, the generator is running for the studio here, but we still have a lot of stuff not running.
Yeah.
Back in the office, and more importantly, the kitchen.
Yeah.
Greg, you've been an old Alabama Power guy. Isn't there some kind of secret handshake or code you can give them on the air?
What's the code?
If you talk to that lady on the phone, can you give her some kind of password?
The chair is against the wall.
Yeah.
The chair is against the wall.
Rocky Snowman. Rocky Snowman.
Has anybody got Adler back under control? I mean, he was just screaming doom and despair.
Adler, what? Come in here and give us your analysis of what was happening. No, come in here. Come in here.
Come here,
Adler, come in here.
I just saw him a minute ago, and the way he looks like John the Baptist. I went down to my office, and in the darkness, he was holding a sign, "Repent, the kingdom is at hand." I mean, look, he's got a ladder, bro. He's got a ladder.
What are we doing? Ladder for?
We're going down. We are going down. What was your analysis of all this?
Look at he's got the ladder.
Hey,
come here.
Has there been an ice?
We are going down. Run down what you said this morning, Adam.
About the iceberg. Give us the whole thing. Watch your ladder. Watch your ladder.
Yeah, you're about to take out something.
The band is playing. Jack and what's her name are hugging. They're giving each other their final goodbyes.
Boats are outside.
Yes, guys. This is. I hope. Where's the oxygen mask falling from the ceiling?
So good.
There he goes. At what point does he hit something with that ladder?
It's real.
Almost right there.
In the next few moments.
There he goes.
So
Look,
I bet our YouTube audience is up right now, since it's the most dependable right now.
Yeah.
So
please look at him. Well, the ladder's too heavy for him.
Right,
Good
that's
night.
Repent.
Poor thing.
We are going down.
Adler, what do you need the ladder for? Why are you carrying it?
Where is my headlamp?
Where's my headlamp? All right, Billy's watching us on YouTube. Hey, Billy, how you doing, buddy?
Billy!
Hey, how does not Greg's fault since he worked for the power company, and he has to call help to run the generator?
Oh, look.
My point,
The battery was dead.
Well, you pulled up and you thought everybody had moved.
Yeah, I did.
They look like it.
Myself.
Yeah.
This has happened myself. You get in a situation like that, and you second guess yourself. Am I really safe?
Oh, we lost him.
Boy, I lost that guy.
Yeah, but anyways, but you're right. Then you start thinking weird things.
Oh
like,
yeah, you play it over your mind. You go, wait a minute. If I miss what's going, I missed something.
Are we off today? Did you think about that? I mean,
I don't know why we'd shut the power off.
Well, sometimes when we're off, we'll just shut the whole place down.
Was there a storm? I didn't
the
know
parking deck being black is spooky.
It was.
It was. Really
I'm a little scared.
How about this? The parking deck is scary on a day when everything's right.
I know.
Stalker Hall back here.
It was
Stalker Hall.
I didn't have enough light to light that
No.
up.
You know what I did? I went around the way where the power zone came up.
Did you?
Yeah.
And then me and Speedy had to go in that back room back there.
I didn't like that. I thought there was gonna be a big rat back there. I just knew it.
I came out of the parking deck and I could see a little bit of light at the top of the steps, and I was afraid there's gonna be twins standing there.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. No, but again,
two little kids dressed up with their hair wet and matted down.
Oh no!
I mean,
and the shadow behind them's of a dragon.
It was so quiet, and and I'm looking in the other part zone, and I'm saying, well, obviously it's isolated to us, and wow,
yeah.
Open the door. I mean, there's not even a sound. I mean, we got nothing, no alarm, no anything. Just
can I tell you what's comfort? Do you find yourself? This is when you see the two different worlds about light versus dark. Mm-hmm. You saw over like at Panera Bread where they have power.
Oh yeah.
And you think over there everything looks like that everything's going to be all right.
Right.
But then you look where there's no light, and boy, I tell you, there's a big analogy there. But it was just like you want to go over there where the light is and just say over here everything seems to be fine.
Too, it is amazing to me because having power is a fairly new thing in our country.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it came along when my mom was a kid.
Right.
And so, in 2 generations, we've gone from you get one light bulb in the middle of the room with a pull string on it to
10 minutes to the top of the hour. The old Rick and Bubba show, and we are here and wrapping up another hour together. So some things you need to know. If this is our last segment together on the live show for you today, which is a lot of you, don't forget the charity charge is going Operation Healing Forces. All you got to do is eat delicious food from participating Buffalo Wild Wings locations in Alabama. So hit those today, and you'll be helping out another great cause. Also, Rick and Bubba University, the podcast, David Pollock, our guest, that is available to you as well wherever you get podcasts. The Birmingham Man Church Conference ended this past weekend. We recapped that for you. But Starkville, you're next. March 8th and 9th, Granger Smith, James Spann, Scott Dawson, Andy Blanks, and I will be speaking. Chuck Hooten doing worship. It'll be at Mississippi State University's Bettersworth Theater. A few tickets still remain. Grab those by going to themanchurch.com. Okay, Bob, a couple of stories that we haven't hit today that are of interest. And one of them, I'm sad someone has passed. I'm sad that's happened. I don't like seeing anybody get shot and killed. But you just don't go and steal something this precious from somebody.
Yeah, Harris County, Texas, a homeowner shot and killed a man after he allegedly stole a barbecue pit from his home early Sunday morning.
There you go.
Harris County Sheriff said in a social media post early Sunday that the deputies responded to the 15,000 block of Ralston Road.
Maybe, I don't know. Texas is huge.
Yeah, it is.
It's a big state.
It is.
They found a man had been shot and confirmed dead. A preliminary investigation revealed that the dead man allegedly attempted to steal the shooter's barbecue pit from his home.
When they say barbecue pit, do they mean,
they're not showing enough good. And
that's got to be
like a big
You know
old,
what? This might have been a competition.
It looks like it.
The guy, it says, after discovering his grill had been stolen, the homeowner left his home and chased down the suspect in his own vehicle.
Well,
and popped a cap in him and got his
barbecue
pit.
You know how that guy could still be alive? Don't steal a barbecue man's barbecue pit from his house.
Go to Lowe's, get your own.
I wish it hadn't happened, but
Okay, it says when the homeowner caught up with the man who was fleeing with the barbecue pit, just a short distance away, he confronted two individuals inside the vehicle. The man told police he believed the driver of the suspected vehicle was possibly in possession of a weapon. He said the homeowner feared for his own safety and fired his gun at the suspect. So there you go. He thought he was in grave danger, so he drew on it.
Bubba, there's a new song coming out by Jason Aldean. If you're going to steal a barbecue pit, don't do it in Texas.
Right.
Well, you don't want it in Texas. That's
you got to have a fiddle in the band.
That is.
Or the follow-up song, I Needed a Faster Car.
You got a faster?
Well, you know what? The person shouldn't have been stealing.
No.
And especially
what do you expect?
Yeah, somebody's barbecue pit. Come on now.
In Texas? Really?
Competition level?
Come on.
Also in the bazaar.
Just now got it right.
We have a pair of California brothers who have pleaded guilty to defrauding the United States Postal Service of over $2.3 million.
Hey, now.
The two submitted fake insurance claims for packages sent priority mail. Okay. The activities continued for almost 3 years with more than 22,000 claims. The scam was simple enough. The brothers would post UPS priority mail packages and pay for the $100 of insurance coverage for each potential loss or damage. And then the packages never showed up, so they would collect.
No, how were they doing it random enough that it wasn't raising a red flag?
Well, you would think after their, let's say, 21,900th claim came in that there's a problem.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
If they had just stopped at maybe $1 million, they might have got away with it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm with you guys. I can't believe it.
That's a lot of packages.
That it took that long.
It said the brothers would go
$100 a pop
to links to conceal their wrongdoing by using aliases and adopting fake business names, making it harder to trace the multitude of fraudulent insurance claims they file.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying it's right, but pretty good plan.
Greg, now, you cannot be endorsing this at all.
I'm not.
What's
I'm
next?
just saying you got to give them
You
credit.
going to get somebody's barbecue pit?
It's not a good plan because they're going to jail.
Well, no, I'm just saying if they didn't get greedy, they got greedy.
Well,
stop at $1 million too. Walk away.
Can't stop.
Well, Greg, they might have run them down after.
I'm just saying.
Well, there was two of them. They had
Whoever's
split
in
$1 million.
I'd like to know who's in charge of checking
I'm
stuff like this for the USPS because they're not doing a very good job.
And I'm going to guess they probably wouldn't plan on paying taxes on it either.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
And big stacks of it.
So wow, this went too far. Do y'all ever get these weird texts that there's a package you're supposed to get and UPS has got it? I never respond to
I
them.
get it all the time.
I don't ever respond to it.
I go, all right, then.
All right, then.
I delete.
Well, most of the time they're fake.
Yeah, it's a scam.
Yeah.
Don't click on it.
Yeah,
Not clicking.
Don't
They
click
ain't clicking on that.
And then do you have the one where the driver claims he wants to communicate with you?
Ooh, I haven't gotten
from
that.
a different. It's not from them. It's a different.
I've heard the prince that wants your bank account so he can put his millions in. He's going to
That's
get you
real.
in on it.
I got one stuck in England. Can't get home.
Yeah, that's coming too.
No, that's.
I wonder why they just called me now.
Well, yeah. The first thing I thought of, all right, so the prince, out of all the people that he wants to handle this, he's picked me.
Yeah. What? Why me?
Surely there's somebody else. you know?
People here.
Yeah, look,
You don't know anybody?
Pretty good about myself.
You don't know anybody here?
He's found me to be quite responsible.
The prince emailed me.
You're going to give me $1 million and, let me give him my bank account number so he can do that.
Yeah,
And he's going to give me a commission.
Sure.
So
Sure he is.
Sure he is. Well, it's like now everything is. You can't trust anything that you receive email wise.
The scammers are getting good too.
Oh, they are. It's
good. They're
and they prey on the elderly, which that's awful.
yeah.
Just absolutely terrible. I mean, how do you sit down and think I just drained an old lady in Wisconsin of the last few dollars she had and just go to bed?
Yeah, ripping off the postal service is one thing.
You
could probably live with
you
that.
still shouldn't do that.
Well, I'm
Greg,
not saying
I
you
don't
should, but
think
you
you
could
should
live
say
with
that.
that.
Right.
Granny Green, you take her life saying that ain't good.
Y'all seen the new movie Beekeeper? The Beekeeper?
I saw it on as
it's
a
on,
choice.
it's on this right here.
Oh, really? Who's the beekeeper? Who plays it?
Oh, pal.
I heard it. I can't remember who.
Jason Statham.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So when I saw
you
that,
know that guy.
I saw that as
The
an
Meg.
option, as an option.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is,
They scammed the wrong person.
That's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody gets scammed and they say,
it was the wrong person.
Ricky, he throws a bunch of bees on him.
right? Well, why are we a beekeeper?
Well, explain it. I'm not going to pull a Burgess and give it away.
Okay. See,
And what is this on?
I need a little more Burgess, so Burgess will be interested.
I'll give Burge more off air. It's
Okay.
Available for rent. Bubba.
I saw it as an option. Something about the title didn't draw me in.
I mean, just wherever you rent movies. The Beekeeper.
Yeah.
What if it was just about Jason Statham and his character? All he did was keep bees, and that's all the movie was about.
The beekeeper. He keeps bees.
I have to ask you this.
You don't want the beekeeper after you, though.
No.
You don't want that.
He moved the queen.
I'm going to ask you this, Speedy. I dread even the way.
Yes, I did rent it.
No, maybe
No,
I.
you ain't rented.
Maybe
No,
I shouldn't put this on you. So, in a strange twist, sometimes you just can't find anything. I ended up watching. I don't know why. I think I watched it just to look at how ridiculous it is. I watched Footloose.
The original or the remake?
The original.
Why? Oh, the original's classic.
I look. When
he gets to dancing mad.
No, listen. Did you ever go see that movie?
Yeah, I just can't remember the whole thing.
All right, so
I remember bits and pieces.
How
of it.
could you even survive him trying to teach Sean Penn's brother how to dance? The Willard, his name Willard.
Yeah. Look, having this condition is hard. It's hard.
How did you? Because it got me.
Yeah.
I was like, I told
tough.
her, I said, we got to fast forward through this. She goes, well, he's learning how to dance. I said, I can't watch it.
even what's his name dancing made me embarrassed.
Well, it's not even him though.
Yeah, but I'm talking about when it is him. Oh, that far off when he's doing all this gymnastic stuff in the feed mill.
No, listen, that's the thing that I'd forgotten all about on Footloose. I didn't realize who tied gymnastics to this.
Yeah,
where did that come from?
Right, I'm gonna have to go back and watch
we're
it
in a
again.
rural town that is so rural you can't dance, and they got a gymnastics team.
I know.
A male gymnastics team. That's the sports team in this. It's bullying everybody.
That's one of the movies.
Could it be
I'll
the
watch
football team?
Yeah,
I'll watch that movie.
But who? I never knew they sold them on Let's Do Gymnastics.
Yeah, he threw it into the middle of his dance. Remember?
Oh yeah. Oh, it was hard to watch. It was hard to watch.
I'm fat, Rick. I'm dancing mad. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Top of the hour.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
This is the Rick and Bubba Show. Watch more at blazetv.com/Rick and Bubba.
Bubba, Rick and Bubba.